They're great people.
All right, get out of here. Let me get to work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, buddy. Take care, man. Bye-bye. That was Mr. Flash, Dean.
Yeah, well, it's an important.
Just start off in the right way. Yeah. Wait a minute, your mic's off now. What? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Take care, my friend. All right, bye-bye. That's Flash who didn't die.
Yes.
Yeah, that's him.
Of course, I was a close friend of the Flash who did die. So there were two of them. You don't expect two Flash Ferraris.
No, it's not like John Jones or something.
Yeah,
it's not like a real popular name. I told you yesterday I had an interesting meeting over Barry Todd's place with Jeremy Locke. Jeremy Locke has been I guess active for the last 6-7 years or so in aerial recovery, which is helping with hurricane victims, flood victims, and stuff like that in the United States all over, where he's surrounded by ex-military, everything special forces type guys and that kind of stuff that are helping him out. But he came to Yuma because he's concerned and wants to know more about us and what's going on our border with kids coming across, all the rumors of kid kidnapping, sexual abuse, all that kind of stuff. They got some insights because he's working with former Border Patrol intelligence and stuff like that understands it all, and they're setting up volunteer type workers that they do this to help train and help locals overcome and identify and get these people taken care of. Amazing story last night, and they're still in town. He's going to be on the show tomorrow. I say that because you can be on the show tomorrow, and I want to do a little more background work on before I get him in here for 3 hours. But
yeah,
if he can stay 3 hours, I don't know.
Coming in tomorrow
morning.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Tomorrow morning. And he's got a website out there, aerialrecovery.org, I think, and there's some interviews he's done out there on that. There's some publicity stuff that he's done, some blogs and some things. So I'll try to get up to date on what he's really been up to, and do that. And I think he wants to grow because there's such a problem out there. And he covers the world. I mean, he was in Ukraine and South in South America and then all over. I mean, he's got experienced people, military experienced people that.
A lot of bad things happening in the world.
There are. We don't see a lot of it.
Well, because we've been so prosperous. We're so fortunate to live in the United States.
It doesn't mean it doesn't exist here, but we're not seeing it.
We have so much better institutions, even though they all have flaws.
Yeah.
But they mostly work. And in a lot of the world, they don't.
Mm-hmm. No. But it's not something that's front page ever really.
No. I mean, people don't talk about all the horrible things that are happening in Africa.
No.
I mean, even now, with all the nasty things that are going on in Iran, it doesn't get a lot of news.
I've had Border Patrol agents and friends over the years that have sent me pictures of some of the horrifying things I can't get out of my head that they run into.
Yes. And some things you see, you can't unsee them.
No, and you don't really want to talk about it, but there's some bad people out there and some bad stuff, and thank God that we have people like Jeremy that has got a crew together that is of like mind that wants to take care of what we can, what piece of the world we can. And so it'll be interesting that and I listened to 4 of them last night. Very Christian. And a lot of them weren't always that way.
Right.
They became Christian, and their mission, I guess, is aligned with that.
Yes.
To take care of people.
Long tradition of that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was encouraging to see. It was an interesting evening to listen to some of the stories on how you got to where you are, and especially after the terror. I mean, the things they had to do. Fighting for our country, the things they had to do to fighting for our independence and our freedoms, it doesn't go without taking a toll on the individual,
right?
That has to endure that. And you're a military guy, you understand. You've been around it all your life, but to endure that, and so there's bouts of destructiveness, self-destructiveness that hopefully you find your way. And some of them, I mean, literally stories where he'd been one of the guys had been given a Bible, and then one day he decided to open it, and his life changed.
That happens.
And he found purpose and he found direction, which is interesting. I mean, those are guys you really would like to work with. I mean, they're guys that have a real strong purpose, real strong direction, and know where they're going.
Well, yes, especially the correct purpose and the correct direction. You can have a purpose and direction that goes the wrong way.
I guess there's some cartel guys that have purpose too.
Well,
they may not be as good for humanity.
No,
not that. So, but we need guys like that. And to think that they would come volunteer and stuff like that and work after their duty to the country was over, after their duty to the military, that they want to use those skills to help train others, teach others.
Sure.
And use their intelligence, use their abilities to gather intelligence. Interesting. He'll be on tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
To seeing him. Interesting story here about Somalia, and I don't pay a lot of attention. We know the history of Somalia a little bit, the pirates and all that, and that there's been a problem with that, and it's curtailed now. I think.
Yeah, it's been a tribal area.
But we're not done with Somalia. I didn't realize how many bombings and stuff Trump has done since he's been here into Somalia. I mean, this latest term.
Okay.
This terrorist organization with Al-Shabaab. In January 12th, actually, forces were working. That's before he took the oath, working with the federal government. They work with the federal government to go against Al-Shabaab because there's a fraction in Somalia that owns part of the country.
Al-Shabaab is a Islamic jihadist group that does a lot of really bad things in Africa.
It ties with ISIS and all that stuff. But you see, there's just been recently more and more attacks. I forget how many this year. It's been like 20 some this year. But they're accused. Somalia's conflict with armed groups. They said that it's the deadliest in Africa right now, which is saying something because sometimes it can be a tough.
There are several different ones in Africa.
But through 24, they've killed an estimated 7,289 people. These are just these groups outside the government. And I know the Pope's talked about, not Somalia specifically, I don't think he did, but about these Islamic groups that are killing Christians, hitting Christians, burning bridges, churches.
Oh, yes, this is...
That's kind of odd coming.
I'm kind of surprised because he seems to have been putting Islamicists sort of on a pedestal at times.
I thought so, but no, just yesterday.
I'll have to read his remarks.
Read the article from the Pope about condemnation of that stuff, because they're and they have been.
Oh yeah,
for some time.
If you pay attention to the news coming out of Africa, they're just horrific tales of hundreds of people being killed at a time because they're Christian.
Yeah. Well, this January, I guess the United States has stepped up all the attacks in Somalia, but they're working with Somali federal government, placing them.
Right.
So this is kind of the opposite of Venezuela, where they went after the government,
right,
or the government they didn't recognize.
Somalia is a pretty chaotic place, and there's a lot of people. Al-Shabaab is one of the groups that has some power there.
Has it ever not been, Joe Dean? Is it in your memory? Has it always been?
There was some time when it was under British rule for a while. Back in the pre-60s, I think it was maybe not quite as chaotic.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a mess right now. And I know Al-Shabaab, it's accused of a lot of the money from Minneapolis went to Al-Shabaab.
I can believe that. Sure. Makes sense.
Suitcases of money went to Al-Shabaab.
Yeah, money meant for orphans and people in need, children in need here in the U.S.
Yes.
Goes to fund Islamic terrorists so they can kill Christians in Africa.
Right. And they leave the country with thousands of dollars per suitcase.
Millions of dollars.
Well, each trip is only like $7,500 because you can't go over the 10,000 legally.
You can go over. Well, it's a misunderstanding. all you have to do is declare the money.
Well, you have to declare it anyway. They declared the 7,500.
You underneath the limit, you don't have to declare.
Oh, okay.
But over the limit, you have to. But if you declare $500,000, you can take $500,000. You declare $1 million, you can take $1 million with you. You just declare
it. These guys have been declaring it. I know TSA's pulled them aside before and interviewed them. Where his money come from, they don't know. They call like, well, we're going to do nothing because it's legal. They can carry money. They can carry cash.
Exactly. That's what
so
I say.
You're turning them loose. They turn them loose, and they just take. But they've registered more declared money coming out of that airport than any other airport in the United States.
Yes, that's kind of what we call a tell.
Well, no one noticed.
Well, people noticed. Nobody did anything.
Right. Well, the more we learn about Minnesota, the more was out of control.
And there were whistleblowers who were bringing this up, and there were some times people were prosecuted for fraud.
Yes, there's been a few.
But the magnitude, the depth, the breadth of the fraud is what's so amazing. When we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars or tens of millions or hundreds of millions. We're talking about billions of dollars.
Right.
Billions of dollars. And we haven't uncovered it all yet.
Well, the prosecutor in Minnesota, he thinks it was $9 billion. And that's Thompson. He just resigned. The prosecutor in Minnesota.
Now, federal, state?
I think he's top fraud prosecutor in the state. He was a state prosecutor. He just now Waltz a week ago said he should be fired. Now Waltz is looking for cover.
Sure.
And trying to separate himself. He says, and his name is Joe Thompson. He said, Joe is a principal public servant who spent more than a decade achieving justice for Minnesota. That's what he says after he quit. A week ago, he said he should be fired.
Well, that's really interesting. You're saying he says there was $9 billion in fraud.
Joe Thompson does, yes.
The prosecutor. But it happened under his watch.
Yes.
See, the estimate I've seen is that $9 billion is an estimate put out by federal authorities.
Last week, Thompson said the fraud crisis in Minnesota could amount to as much as $9 billion.
I wonder where he's. See, I'm thinking he's quoting federal authorities, I think.
I have no idea, but
that's my guess.
He knows that he lives there. He's a prosecutor.
Well, he was a prosecutor for the last decade. You know, if somebody should have an idea of what's going on criminally.
And that's why Waltz was throwing him under the bus. Waltz said he should be fired. That's defamation. That's coming from the U.S. attorney. We are under assault. Well, maybe he is he says maybe he's a U.S. attorney for the state. It, might have that wrong. He might be a U.S. attorney. But he resigned.
Yeah.
And now they're giving him praise from Waltz. Well, believe me, the social media is lit up on that. They know they noticed it. Like 1 week later, you're praising the guy.
Well, sure. I mean, but if he is the U.S. attorney, I'm wondering why he resigned. Or maybe because he wasn't active enough in prosecuting fraud.
He wasn't the only one.
Right. No, absolutely.
And he was a U.S. attorney and other prosecutors. U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson and other prosecutors resigned. It's according to the New York Times. And
okay, but see, the spin I'd heard on this, and I could be wrong, was they resigned in protest of the prosecution of the fraud.
They might have, but why is he saying $9 billion then?
Because that's what other.
Because he resigned and he said the fraud crisis in Minnesota could amount to as much as $9 billion.
So the question is, why is he resigning? It's one thing if he's resigning because he feels he has no credibility because he didn't do his job. It's another thing if he's resigning in protest over the Trump administration trying to get him to do his job.
Yeah.
And so it's not clear from the article which is which.
Well, we need to sort through a lot of it, obviously, because
it's going to be prosecuted.
None of it makes sense.
The Trump administration is still going to go after it.
But he resigned after a time when, within the last few weeks, the United States federal government has poured tons of people in there, FBI and investigators,
right, exactly,
in there.
To me, that indicates he's resigned because
something's wrong.
He didn't do the right thing.
But why would he walk out?
Now the question is, how old is he? Maybe he retired. I mean, people are much more likely to retire if they have enough time in.
Don't know. Don't know, but we're in trouble in Minnesota, obviously. with
Minnesota,
cancer.
yeah, obviously all kinds of problems.
But we're just probably just getting started on scratching that surface. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Morning, Russ. Dean.
Ted,
morning.
good morning.
They have windows in their office buildings in Minnesota.
You do?
Some offices do. The most important ones almost always have corner offices and windows on two walls.
But are they on a high enough floor, Ted? I know where you're going.
Yeah. Just like Bill didn't show up for his court-ordered meeting with the feds.
Oh, Bill
now
Clinton.
Hillary-
You're talking about
yeah,
Bill
now-
and Hillary not obeying the summons to appear before Congress.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if she's denied it yet, but he did.
Well, there's. She said she was on.
Yeah, both of
Oh,
them
shit.
have claimed they're not going to cooperate.
Yeah.
Well, it's like two jail cells better be warming up for him.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the penalties are not really horrible. You know, they're fines, and they can afford the fines. That's what I understand.
Right.
All right. I you know, my personal experience is you don't make that summons before your court. You get picked up by the police.
Sure, but this isn't a court; it's the Congress, and the rules are a little different.
Well, as usual, privileges.
Well, they just know the rules, the pros, the cons, and they're deciding to stay home, pay the fines. They got
They're both
taxpayer
attorneys,
money.
and they've got plenty of money to hire people who understand all the rules as much as they can, and
Catch me if you can.
they don't want to appear because they know that if they lie, they can be caught up in it, and if they tell the truth, they're in trouble. So it's a lose-lose situation for them. So they're trying to figure a way to wiggle out of it. We won't go because we're upright, staunch Democrats protecting the country. That's
Right.
the image they're trying to portray. I don't think it's working, but that's what they're trying.
It's working in some.
I'm waiting.
No.
I'm waiting to see who throws cover for him up on the hill. I'm waiting to see who's going to throw cover for him.
Well, I have not read comments by the House and Senate leadership, but I almost guarantee that the prominent Democrats will cover for him. There's too many. They know where too many bodies are buried, to use a phrase.
Yeah.
Could be in burn bags in that corner office.
Well, so we're thinking alike, perhaps.
And they found them. All right, Ted. Appreciate the
All
call,
right.
buddy. Take care, man.
Have a good day, man.
Bye-bye. My fact checker is helping me here.
Good.
Edward sent me a note. A article about Thompson, but he quit over ice shooting probe.
Okay.
And federal government and all that
So
stuff.
he's virtue signaling is what he's doing.
He's 47 years old, so
He's
that's
only
young.
47, so that's kind of young to
young.
retire.
Yeah, he's not retiring.
There's probably some big leftist law firm will give him a job.
Oh gosh, yeah, I would think so. So he's but that's good that he's leaving.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's not, and he probably retired or left because he knew he was very likely to be fired.
Well,
All
that's
those
the
US
shadow, right?
All
Isn't that what
those
you're saying?
all U.S. attorneys work at the pleasure of the president. They
Yeah.
can be replaced at any time. When Bill Clinton came into office, I think he was one of the first presidents that just fired every U.S. attorney and said, "We got to get our people in there instead."
Right.
And now it's become almost commonplace.
Well,
For-
Trump did a lot more of that than he
Yes.
got in the first term.
But this person has been there for 10 years. So maybe he was appointed by Trump 10 years ago, would have been 2016. Yeah, so he might have been appointed by Obama.
Mm-hmm.
That would put him right outside the first Trump term. And so I'm kind of surprised that he's still in place.
Well,
But so leaving, resigning before you're fired is a common thing, and he picked a dramatic moment to do it to build up his Democratic bona fides. That's the way it looks to me.
Why on his way out would he say there's up to $9 billion in fraud? Why would he say that? I'm
It's kind of a buffer. I don't know. It's maybe trying to play both sides of the fence. I mean, that
I mean,
number has been bandied about in the media a lot lately.
It has been, but that's a media thing. But coming from him, who's on the inside looking at,
Yeah, he's the U.S. Attorney prosecutor
Yeah.
there. That's interesting, and maybe he helped come up with that number. I don't have enough facts to say one way or another on that.
it's hard to know. White House right now is standing by Trump over his appropriate response after Heckler confronted him at the Ford garage. Ford plant. I don't know if you heard about that.
Oh, some heckler yelled stuff at him and he used the middle finger.
Yeah, he did, and actually verbalized, I guess, or mouthed an "fu" type salute to the guy. Of course, it goes viral.
Yeah,
People say, "Oh my goodness, the president." He is from New York.
It's
all.
hard for me to know if this hurts or harms the president.
I don't know. Well, there's people that are annoyed with it. I mean,
and there are people who say, "Yeah, he's an upfront guy. He's a stand-up guy." You know,
I think
that's what people would normally have said. The common wisdom was anybody who used the words that Trump uses and is abrupt as he is and unwilling to follow conventional wisdom could never be president. But he's won at least 2 and arguably 3 elections.
His popularity has not gone down.
No,
it continues.
Exactly.
So now,
people try to make a big deal out of this, and it puts off some people, but other people cheer it on.
This happened in Dearborn, Michigan. He was at the Ford River Road complex and taking a tour, and it was an employee. It was not a guest. It was an employee that runs up and screams and calls him pedophile. He's been suspended.
Well, okay. Well, there's another case I just read about this morning. I'm trying to remember what state it was in, but there's a person who part-time worked as a teacher and was kind of an online personality and constantly was calling Republicans pedophiles.
Yeah.
Constantly, over and over again. And they just got arrested for sexual solicitation of a minor. A agent posing as an 11-year-old girl made an arrangement. Well, it was all a trap. And when this fellow showed up, he got arrested, and that's
my fact checker wants me to make sure I stress that they are against the Joe Thompson, the prosecutors were against stating that Good assaulted an ICE officer.
Good being the woman who was shot.
The woman shot assaulted an ICE officer. What do you call it then?
Well, they just don't want to show a conflict in the narrative that's been built by the left. I mean, they don't want to contradict this mythology that's out there that she didn't assault the officer.
Well, she hit him with a car.
Right, exactly.
While she was being arrested.
And she was trained to do this stuff, trained to push it to the edge, trying to get a reaction. Well, they got a reaction. I believe people above her wanted that reaction. They wanted a martyr. And they set things up to be real close to the edge so they could get it.
Well, and a lot of the left have been listening to say, well, she obviously had the wheels turned to the right to turn away from him, which the wheels were turned. Of course, he was too close to have that avoid missing.
There are at least 3 angles of the videos, and 2 of them show that, she's going toward the officer.
Well, it was.
And she hit him.
Yeah,
I mean, it's unfortunate that she was killed. I think I don't think she intended to be killed, but she was pushing it right to the edge, and bad things happen when you do that.
The officer couldn't see the wheels.
No, of course
he was
not.
looking in the windshield at her,
right?
And she gunned it, took off, and it was like, and he verbally like, "Wow!" And he pulled the gun at that point. I mean, he didn't go in with the intent.
Well,
having the gun in his hand, he didn't have the gun in his hand. He had his camera in his hand or his phone.
What he also had been dragged by a vehicle, so he'd been injured in a previous case.
That was less than a year ago.
Right.
Yep.
So he was kind of sensitized to the danger he was in.
I got an update on that Ford employee who's been suspended.
Yes.
His GoFundMe page to help him in his unfair treatment of being suspended has already raised $100,000.
Yeah.
Dean, I need a GoFundMe page.
I would suggest Give, Send, Go. GoFundMe is rather biased toward the left.
Yeah, it is.
Like they canceled out Kyle Rittenhouse's page, and then he went to Give, Send, Go, which is a Christian organization and doesn't bias who they allow to send up a page. And so Give, Send, Go is more reliable unless you're a dedicated leftist.
Yeah. I'm not going to open up either.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd get
Well, I've helped people open up a couple of them.
Have you really?
Yeah, particularly one for the gun-free school zone case out of Montana,
Right.
Billings, Montana. So they raised enough money to be helpful, not as much as I would like to have seen them get. And that case, we don't know. It's still in the air whether it's going to be appealed to the Ninth Circuit.
Well, if you're going to open up one, I would assume that the best time to do it is once you get national attention for calling the president a pedophile.
Yeah, well,
and then
anytime you get national attention, it's probably a good time to open it up.
I mean, I'd like $100,000, but I'm not going to call Trump a pedophile to get it.
Okay, you have ethics. And it's not certain. You can't tell. I mean, I was just looking. I just became aware of a page that had been opened up for a retired game warden up in Wisconsin. Has been very busy in conservation circles, and he shot a wolf on his property in what he says is self-defense. Well, the state decided to prosecute him, and they had a goal for his legal expenses of about $7,000, and he's only got raised $700 so far. And I don't have the name right in front of me, but it's a defense. Yeah, since he shot this wolf up in northern Wisconsin, and it's an area of Wisconsin that has a lot of wolves.
Dangerous.
They are.
Whether or not he was attacking him or not, I don't know. I wasn't there.
He has dogs, and he said the wolf was coming in close to his dog, and I don't know all the details. I am sympathetic because I just see that there's been so much mythology built about wolves. I mean, one of the most popular books in the entire world about wolves is all fake. It's called Never Cry Wolf. They made a movie about it. I think it was Farley Mowat, if I get the name right, who wrote it. And it's all fiction. Well, it's not absolutely completely fiction, but he did say later on in life, I never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
There you go.
And his colleagues who were with him and helped him set up these so-called, expeditions where he was doing research, they say it's fiction. That didn't happen. He didn't do things that way. It's all just fiction. And he has helped create the mythology that wolves are harmless furry forest creatures.
Oh. Well, that's...
I mean, for example, one of the things he said is what wolves mostly live on is mice. It's just not true. It's just complete falsehood.
And we repopulated wolves in a lot
We've
of areas.
Reintroduced them into several areas in the United States.
Including Arizona.
Yes. And Wisconsin has a pretty significant number of wolves in it now. The people of Wisconsin, when they started protecting and reintroducing the wolves, were told, well, we want to get a population of 350. 350, we think, is the right population for wolves. And that number went along for decades until suddenly, with Governor Evers and his newly appointed people in the DNR, Department of Natural Resources, they say, well, we don't really know that 350. We've got about 1,000 now, and we don't know what the right number is. We'll know it when we see it.
Great.
So people up in northern Wisconsin have to be worried about wolves. My brother, who lives in a wolf-infested area, had to face down a pack of several wolves when he was out walking about roughly a year ago.
Definitely dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, he had a pistol with him, but it was early morning before the sun was up. It was only 200 yards from his house, and he called his wife had a cell phone and said, "Bring the shotgun." And she brought a vehicle and the shotgun. When the wolves saw the vehicle, they took off.
So, if your brother had to eliminate one of these wolves for fear, for safety. Would he announce that to the local authorities?
I can't speak for him, but we were out walking. I was up there, I think it's 3-4 years ago, and we were about, I'm going to say about 600 or 700 yards from the house, and a young wolf had been hit by a vehicle on the highway, and was dead there in the ditch.
Yeah.
I took some pictures of it. I wrote about it a little bit. But wolves are getting pretty common when they get hit by cars.
Yeah.
And killed.
Yeah. It's like deer in Pennsylvania. That happens a lot.
Oh yeah, and in Wisconsin, there are a lot of deer hit by cars too.
But then it's going to be a good hunting season because they up the limit.
Yeah, now a lot of places are having trouble getting enough hunters.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I still have friends on the East Coast, and like 6 is a limit now and stuff in Pennsylvania for deer. And I'm like, wow,
yeah. Well, and then we just had this bear
freezer
season in Florida, the first one in a decade, and they allowed 172 permits, but it actually turned out to be maybe 133 because a number of them were purchased by people who vowed they would not kill a bear.
Oh, they were doing it to block.
Yes, exactly.
Save the bear.
And then they offered $2,000 to anybody who would turn their permit over to them so they wouldn't kill a bear. Yeah, pretty impressive.
Wow.
And so
that's commitment.
The total number of bears that were killed were 52. To give you an idea of how insignificant that is, 300 bears are killed just about every year in Florida in vehicle crashes.
Okay. And plus 52 now.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be right back. AM 560.
A little bit breezy, but unseasonably warm weather to go along with that. 81 and sunny today, north wind at 10 to 15, clear and 55 tonight. Sunny, breezy, and 82 on Thursday, clear and 51 on Thursday night. We'll continue with 81 and sunshine and some wind on Friday, 54 and clear Friday night.
Are you looking for a new car? Well, we don't have it. How about a new cell phone? Don't have that either. At Firearms Unknown, we don't mix what we don't know with what we do know. We know firearms, knives, and ammo. So, if you know what you want, or even if you don't, Firearms Unknown can get you what you need. We have rifle, pistol, and shotgun deals starting at $9.99 for all three. Deals on guns and ammo and the largest knife section around, with the knowledge to set you up right. Firearms Unknown, 801 West 32nd Street, or firearmsunknown.com. Now you know.
We're the comfort experts, people you can trust. Ask our customers. That's why they count on us. Over 50 years of service, keep us going strong. We've got a name you can depend upon. Hansberger Refrigeration and Electric. Hansberger, count on us.
Listen to KBL News from 8 to 9 every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law. Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Learn how you can plan your estate using a will or trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. on 560 KBLU.
The most beautiful time of year is upon us. Tax season. And Tax Slayer is here to help you file with 100% accuracy for your maximum refund. Guaranteed. Tax Slayer even has support from real U.S.-based humans if you have any questions along the way. File your federal return by February 8th for $22.99, and I'll help you get the refund you deserve. Take it from me, a talking calculator speaking to you through the speakers of wherever you are. Tax Slayer, file fearlessly.
To be a part of Russ's show, call 928-344-5258. That's 928-344-5258.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a safer plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
There's a man in D.C. He's dancing for 3. He's fighting for you
Hey, I'm glad to give you. Russ Clark with you at 48 on Wednesday morning. Dean's here.
Glad to be here.
I know you've been on a plane quite a few times. I've flown in planes. This has never happened to me, but in Canada, this happened back on December 13th. A plane was preparing to leave Toronto, and 184 passengers on it, and they could hear someone below their feet screaming and banging.
Oh, so maybe in the luggage compartment?
Yeah. So the plane stops,
Okay.
and a guy gets out of the luggage hold. Somebody comes over. They could see crew gathering out there.
Yeah.
They open up luggage. The guy jumps out. Comes on the plane and explains that the door accidentally closed on him.
Was he a worker?
Well, apparently he was not the normal. He was assisting ground staff by loading items. I don't believe any of the story. I believe he was in there and they had to cancel the flight. They took the flight back to the gate and then decided to cancel it. So I'm guessing here that guy wasn't a worker.
I'm thinking so.
And-
I mean,
and they
there's
don't
a
know.
lot of security that goes into selecting and maintaining a crew that
Yeah.
works on ground crew. I know a little bit about this because my brother worked as ground crew for airline until he retired. And it's not something where somebody just walks on and says, "Hey, want me to help you throw these bags in?" Oh, and I got to climb into. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
None of this makes any sense. And then they don't accidentally close on you the doors. They have to be manually latched. If you've ever watched the luggage,
It's a bad story, but maybe it's the best you could come up with.
it's a bad story, and people are going to read it and believe it, but I don't. I think there's something else going on there they're not telling me.
Right. I think so too.
It would be interesting though to be ready for takeoff and hear all the banging and stuff. I'd just like to see the people's faces.
It's
It'd be
odd.
odd. It'd be really
Yeah,
odd.
maybe we'll get some. I don't know. It's Canada. It's
Yeah.
hard to know whether we will get truth out of this eventually.
Yeah, but they had the guy come on the plane.
They had him come on the plane.
Yeah,
Now that's odd.
the whole thing is weird.
It is. And then you cancel the flight. Well, I can see him being half an hour late,
Well,
but maybe you got this strange guy who's been in your luggage hold.
and they don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on in there, so we don't want to take off until we get everything out and check it all over and make sure there isn't some type of device planted
I
in
think
there.
they delayed it a few times, and then they just said, "Okay, we're just canceling it."
That makes sense to me. I can understand
It
that.
was canceled after several delays and all that stuff. So there had to be more going on there than this was just a guy helping with luggage that got stuck. And how do you get stuck?
See, I suspect some kind of substance abuse,
I don't know. Or somebody was taking a nap. I don't know.
maybe.
Anything could happen, but
Yeah,
He
lots of possibilities.
he wasn't part of the normal crew.
Right.
So when they counted heads, they weren't looking for him.
Yeah. I mean, now it's possible if he was a worker and somebody said, "Can you help us out?" I mean, that's not impossible. But he doesn't sound like he claimed to be an airline employee.
But he came on the cabin just to assure the passengers he was unharmed.
See, now to me, that indicates that maybe he was an employee. He might have had some kind of uniform on or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very odd thing.
I don't believe that can happen. Not the way they explained it.
There's so many things we don't know
Yeah.
that might make the story more credible or not. So I am not going to spend a lot of time trying to
No,
follow it because I'm not that interested.
no, but I'd like to know.
You're free to dedicate hours to following up.
No. I hope it comes up somewhere. I'll let somebody else do it. I have no access to doing the research in Canada, but
We have access to the internet. It gives you a lot of access.
hopefully, yeah. But I've read stuff on the internet that's not true.
Really?
Yeah. That whole theory that if it's on the internet, it's
I-
got to be true. It doesn't tell much.
I suspect that probably about half the stuff on the internet is false one way or another, maybe more.
Depending on the source.
Yeah.
Depending on the source. You heard about that Secret Service agent and Vance, Vice President, Secret Service agent employee I guess, is having drinks with a female and starts spilling a lot of secret stuff to her about Vance's travel plans, where he's going to be, some of
Oh,
the
yeah, it's
operational.
interesting. It's kind of like the anti-Veritas.
Well, it was a James O'Keefe operation.
It was.
It was.
Oh, well, then my assumptions about it, the way it sounded like an O'Keefe operation.
This,
But I mean, that's not good.
this Secret Service guy was honeypotted, you know,
Yeah.
and this girl wanted to know more, and he kept telling her.
Well, you know,
And apparently,
hormones are a powerful
oh
motivator.
my gosh. Now O'Keefe puts it out on X, you know. Now something O'Keefe did though, because a lot of this stuff, the Secret Service didn't really want out there.
No, it's a nightmare for whoever the agent and his supervisor.
But O'Keefe's got to do the story, but he allowed the Secret Service to edit some of it that would have caused.
Sure, because you don't want to put that information that could be potentially damaging.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people out there who wish harm to Vance and President Trump, and you don't want them to know just exactly where they're going to be.
Yeah, here's what it is. They coordinated with USS Secret Service prior to the publication and redacted certain operational details at the agency's request. That's fair.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, that'll keep O'Keefe out of hot water.
Well,
And
and I mean, the agent is in a lot of hot water. I don't know. We don't know for sure it's an agent, just as an employee of the Secret Service, right?
He's an agent.
Oh, an agent. Okay. Yeah.
He said and according to O'Keefe, he discussed protective information, shift schedules, travel movements, advanced security procedures, and sent images while aboard Air Force Two. Wow. This guy was in love.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Oh, man.
But none of that stuff, I didn't hear, plans. I mean, none of it. How much of it is exactly sensitive? It's hard to know without looking at it, and neither of us will have access.
Some of it that was out on his stuff was advanced plans where he was going to be when he was going to arrive before the incident.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good. Other than that, I don't know what they redacted or anything. According to Matthew Quinn, he's the United States Secret Service Deputy Director. He said the U.S. Secret Service has no tolerance for any behavior that could potentially compromise the safety, privacy, or trust of our protectees. This incident is under investigation, and the employee involved has been placed on administrative leave with his clearance suspended and access to agency facilities and systems revoked.
Yeah.
The U.S. Secret Service has also issued an order for all personnel to retake the agency's required anti-espionage training. If nothing else, this guy's not going to be popular in the break room.
No. I suspect his career this is a potentially career-ending move. Now, that doesn't mean that he will lose everything, because Secret Service are talented people. They're highly selected. He could get a job with Border Patrol or Customs or something, maybe.
According to O'Keefe, the agent is a holdover from the Biden administration, which, for me, when it comes to Secret Service stuff, that should be neutral.
It should be.
We're protecting somebody,
the president or the vice president,
or any dignitary, whoever it is,
right?
Whatever it is. It shouldn't matter.
But look at what we saw with the attempted assassination of Trump.
Yeah, where they had the midget Secret Service people.
I mean, to me, it seemed like that was where the Biden administration, I'm going to say, because I don't know precisely, deliberately put the B team out there that they knew might screw up.
I think that one female agent's still trying to holster that gun.
Yeah, it could be. But I mean,
it's just terrible.
They didn't cover the roof where the sniper eventually was, and it sounded like there was a mix-up in scheduling and who was responsible for what. It's just the type of thing that you can expect when people are not at the very top of their form.
According to O'Keefe, this agent also holds anti-ICE and anti-Trump administration personal views, which nobody should know that if it was true. He should never have opened his mouth.
Right, exactly. You're correct. So he screwed up, and he's going to pay he or she. We don't know if
he's got him on video.
Okay, so it is a man.
Video, yeah.
he's going to pay a price for it. That's what it looks like to me.
It's hard to believe somebody that at that professional level would be that ridiculously stupid.
You know, that you put a very attractive woman in front of a man who is not committed to a relationship. There's a lot of incentives.
Well,
I've seen a lot of men do really stupid things.
I think these guys are all going to have a little training on that now.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll be right back. It's top of the hour at 7 o'clock, AM 560, KBOU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU. Yuma.
Iran is getting ready to crack down on protests even harder. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Planning fast trials and executions. President Trump tells CBS News, "We will take very strong action if they do such a thing. We will take very strong action." After also telling Iranian protesters, keep demonstrating and help us on the way.
The 26-year-old protester is reportedly scheduled to be hanged today by the Iranian regime who accuses him of crimes against God.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the White House.
For more than 2 weeks, protests have been growing inside Iran. A human rights group says more than 2,000 people have been killed.
President Trump keeps pushing to take over Greenland. Posting on Truth Social this morning, the U.S. needs it for national security. Adding NATO becomes more formidable if we control Greenland. It's now part of Denmark. And foreign ministers from both will hold talks today with Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Greenland is currently an autonomous part of Denmark, and Greenland's prime minister said alongside the Danish prime minister Tuesday they face a geopolitical crisis, and if they have to choose between the U.S. and Denmark, they choose Denmark.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. More than a week after the U.S. operation capturing Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, Venezuela keeps releasing political prisoners. 4 of them are Americans. Now to Minneapolis. Anti-ICE protests keep raging, clashing with federal agents, angry over last week's shooting death they call murder. Some federal prosecutors have resigned in the investigation into Renee Good's death. Homeland Security maintains she interfered with ICE operations and drove toward an officer. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, a Democrat, tells Fox and Friends ICE is acting unconstitutionally, not just going after criminal illegal aliens.
A lot of the people that ICE is picking up right now in our city are not a problem for Minneapolis. They've opened businesses. They've been here for longer than I've been here. They contribute so beautifully and greatly to our city.
It's up to at least 32 people dead in a railroad disaster in Thailand. A crane crashed down on a passenger train that went off the rails. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small business edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps you the only employee does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. Now take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Hey, folks, many of us grew up on these high-sugar cereals, Frosty Flakes, even Raisin Bran. You need to make the healthier switch to Grainberry, created by my dear friend Peter Harris and his father. It is lower in sugar. It's made with natural fiber, antioxidants, whole grain onyx sorghum, and that helps slow sugar absorption. Now, the taste will win you over, and you can pick up Grainberry bran flakes or any of their other great flavors. Make the switch. Grainberry, the official cereal of the Sean Hannity.
From the News 11's information desk, I'm Jaylene Aguilera. An academy graduation was held for Arizona Western College's law enforcement students across the desert Southwest. After a grueling 22 weeks of hard work, Class 55 graduated from Arizona Western College Law Enforcement Training Academy. All officers are required to complete tasks such as defensive tactics, firearms driving, and physical agility tests within the 22 weeks in order to graduate. The students went through weeks of not seeing their family, studying, getting up early, and sacrificing their time to be a part of the law enforcement family. The director of the academy, who wants to lead the students with a little advice, saying, keep your integrity, always know what you're doing, and if you don't know, ask the questions. so you can be better and better serve our community. Congratulations to all the law enforcement graduates. Catch us on the TV set on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for the latest local news, weather, and sports.
There's a man at DC.
KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Dean's here.
Yes, I am.
My a listener called in and says, was the agent, I'm talking about the Secret Service agent that gave all the secrets to a female at a bar over drinks, was he in love or lust?
Possibly both.
Fair question.
Yeah.
Fair
You know,
question.
it's don't do that. That's not smart.
You wouldn't think that stuff would happen. You would think those guys are trained to look for that.
They are. I know that heck, even lowly civil servants like myself were trained to look for that.
I would imagine there's things you never told your family, wife, or anybody. That
Oh
happened.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, you just don't tell. You don't say.
Because
I mean,
no need to know, as they say.
I mean, I've never had a secret clearance, and nobody in the right mind will give it to me, probably. But I've had a lot of people come in the studio, you know, military types or border patrol chiefs and stuff like that. That says, "I want you to know this, but you can't say anything." Now, I think it's a test as much
Maybe.
as anything, but I would never, because I want to talk to them tomorrow.
Well, that's right. You want to maintain your credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and plus it's a wrong thing too. I would not want to put anybody in a
Sure.
site.
Exactly. But people who say that are not doing the right thing, in my opinion, unless it's not exactly true, you know, unless you could say it and it wouldn't really harm anyone.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's an old saying among intelligence types, two people can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
And that's a normal.
I mean, that's how people think when they are entrusted with this.
Entrusted intelligence. Phone lines are open 928-344-5258. We'll change the subject to AI because I like following it to see where it's going. McDonald's is working on AI, which doesn't surprise me. When the minimum wage starts going up like it is, particularly in the state of Arizona, which is like $15 an hour now.
AI is potentially useful to virtually every enterprise.
Correct. But I think it becomes more urgent. And
well, if you're having problems with your bottom line, you know, you have greater incentive to change things.
And when you're literally paying, you know, starting workers in a McDonald's, which is a teenage, you know, first job kind of experience, generally double what the national minimum wage is, AI starts to become more attractive if you can do some things.
You know, we've been making things easier with less human intervention for at least 250 years, and maybe 300. And it's been accelerating the whole time, the whole mass production, assembly line, interchangeable parts, electricity, the use of petroleum, all that stuff, computers, digital, it's all just going faster and faster and faster.
But sometimes, especially on the cutting edge stuff, it gets a little expensive, you know, when
of course,
produce. But the fact that the labor rates are going up so high, and it's a cost you don't see. It's not just the $15 an hour,
right?
It's the Social Security you have to pay.
All of that comes into play.
Ends up costing the company $20, $30 an hour.
And as a company is more productive, they can afford to pay employees more.
Sure.
I mean, and so
you have fewer of them if you have AI.
Well, yes. In the past, we've always found new jobs for people to do. You know, it used to be we had to have 80% of the population working on farms just to produce enough food. Now it's something like 5%, 3%. It's really low.
I thought it was lower than that.
Yeah, maybe it's 1%. I haven't looked recently. But the point is that we found other productive things for those people to do. The worry about AI is that the change will happen so fast we won't be able to find productive things for those other people to do.
This AI in McDonald's, according to Brian Rice, he's the chief information officer. Our restaurants, frankly, can be very stressful. Okay, we have customers at the counter, we have customers at the drive-through, couriers coming in for delivery. But that's just business. Is that stress? I don't know. It's just
it's retail. All retail suffers the same thing, don't they?
Yeah, delivery at curbside. There's a lot to deal with in our crew. I mean, if I was the information officer for a large company, I don't know that I'd be putting that out there that our employees are stressed.
Yeah, I might put it differently. I'd say
it's too much to do.
McDonald's is always working to make our experience better for our customers and to deliver safe, healthy food at the maximum best way possible.
I think you should be the next information officer. But what Brian says, technology solutions will alleviate the stress.
Well, they can.
Yeah, but what do I care? I just want a hamburger.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that the public is, I think, most concerned with.
Well, they've got an AI-driven accuracy scale. Now, I don't visit fast food a lot, but I don't know that I've had much of any problems ever. If I have, where I order 5 items and I open up the bag and there's less than that or the wrong that, whatever. I mean, I generally have had good experiences. But I've read statistics in the past that they make 10-15% errors. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's
10-15%.
That's huge. I don't know if that's current or accurate today, but I mean, I was surprised when I was reading how many errors there are. Now they have AI-driven accuracy scales, which makes sense.
Now, I mean, I'm not sure what that means.
Well, I'm assuming here, because it says it's going to make sure that everything that is in the bag is the right stuff.
So the accuracy scale is a measure of how accurate the AI is?
No, the scale is going to weigh the bag.
Okay.
And see if it's got the right 5 items, because they weigh
because each item is pretty closely monitored how much it weighs. Yeah.
Right. So it should weigh something. I think that should be helpful. To slow down on
that doesn't sound like AI to me. I mean, I could write a program to do that.
Well, then maybe you're an AI guy. I don't know.
I mean, it's just simple. You know what the item is. Yeah. You know how much you add them together. This is the weight. How close is it on the scale? Is it within 4%? Good.
Apparently, well, the computer's going to do it for them. The bag on the scale. And they say
it really doesn't sound AI.
Give it the green light or tell you they're looking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
They're also expanding. I find this is ready on arrival now. All these.
Now that might take a bit more.
All these fast food restaurants have gone to apps on phone.
Oh yeah,
right. You can, and I've got an app.
You walk into a fast food place. A lot of times it's hard to get a person to talk to you because they expect everything to be done by app.
And generally, there's nobody there at the counter.
Less people. Yeah.
Well, they're not standing there waiting.
Right.
If they see you go to a counter, somebody might come up.
Sure, I've had that happen.
But they also have ways to order if you don't have a phone. They have electronic boards that you just walk over to and type your own order.
Yes,
and they're getting used more and more.
Yeah, I have had an aversion to putting apps on my phone. That's just a quirk of mine.
Well, this Ready on Arrival program, it'll use mobile app geofencing
to tell you where the person who wants to pick up the order is, right?
Do you really want McDonald's to know where you are?
Everybody else does.
There's Dean. He's driving down 4th Avenue. He'll be here in 5 minutes.
I've often said, I welcome our new digital overlords because we can't avoid them. The question is, we need to build in some sort of safety so that you cannot be just assassinated by somebody who wants to kill you because they know where you are at every minute of the day.
Well, I thought you want safety from Ronald McDonald. You don't want him to know where you are. But I guess it'll work like an Uber. I mean, have you used Uber before?
I have not.
Okay. When you type in Uber, it'll show a map of the city you're in, show exactly where the driver is in an ETA, and it'll show his movement as he's getting closer to you.
Sure.
Tells you the license number and all that. So I'm assuming they're going to have something like that to see where our customers are.
And Uber is an interesting technological innovation. And there's a lot of money in it right now.
Yeah.
But it's all being threatened by, things like Waymo and cybercabs. But I talked to somebody who used Waymo up in Phoenix, and they said they charged for the ride, which sounded like it was about 15 miles or so, $10 more than what Uber would have charged.
Yeah.
I thought the whole point of a robotic vehicle was it was cheaper.
Yeah. Well,
if it costs more to use a autonomous cab than it does an Uber, what's the advantage? Well, I guess you don't have anybody in it.
The driver's more polite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And it looks like, supposedly Tesla's coming out with autonomous cabs, cyber cabs, I think they call them. A lot of people are saying it's going to happen this year. Well, we will see.
Musk has always been,
he's a promoter.
He is a promoter, but
so he tends to be very optimistic.
He is, and I don't dislike it, but when he says it's coming out this year, I'm a little skeptical because he's missed a few deadlines.
That's right.
Because
but the interesting thing about him is most of the stuff that he's said is going to happen just happens later than what he thought it would.
Correct. God, I got a note here that the draw is open for elk and pronghorn, sheep and stuff. If you're a hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and put your name in, go hunting.
Yeah, they don't have very many permits right in this area for bighorn sheep.
They issue them.
There are a few, but I mean, there's not a lot.
They'll issue them for wherever you want to go. You're right. A lot of people just have to travel.
Well, it's one of these trophies that there are a lot of people. It's hard to get, so it's in demand.
Well, it's a once in a lifetime thing,
right?
Pretty much. But also elk. So
yeah, that's a little bit easier to get an elk.
So I'm glad to help out there. Put that out there. Let you know to go hunting. I've been on hunts. I've been unsuccessful because I talk too much, according to the people I'm with.
Not a good for most hunting. Talking is not a good thing.
Well,
at least not. You have to be very judicious about it. Now, for dove hunting, it's not such a big deal.
My fact checker, who happens to be a restaurant owner, also,
okay,
says the greatest way to ease the stress of employees in fast food is to bring in more robots. Save our children, demand more robots.
Well, isn't that just what the McDonald's spokesman was saying?
Yeah, well, Edward just says he's approving and he's applauding.
Yeah.
And he's invested in a lot of the robots. And I think he's got one. I think it was Flippy was one of them, that made hamburgers or something. Yeah. I don't know exactly where it was used, but, he's an investor and a guy that looks at that stuff. Auto cabs are more expensive today due to higher insurance costs and city fees to operate.
Well, the fees I could see. Insurance costs, we build up a database over time as to whether they're safer than human drivers or not.
Well, that's what he's saying. But right now, they're more expensive.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's still according to theory, they're better. According to theory, they're cheaper.
Well,
it's not been tested.
Right. What we see in practice, like my friend who paid $10 more than Uber, in practice, the theory didn't hold up right now.
What do you mean? It wasn't safe?
I'm saying that in practice, it was more expensive.
Oh, it's more expensive.
In theory, it'd be cheaper.
But he's justifying the expense. He's saying,
yeah, exactly. Well, I understand.
Because once the testing is complete, you will see a major drop in cost.
That's exactly what I'm reading. So he's definitely agreeing with a lot of what other people are saying.
Yeah. Driver's income will be removed. We don't need no driver. Then we'd have like Mad Mike or something.
Well,
driving around.
There's so many things where people. I mean, you just don't need as many people to operate equipment as you used to.
Let me ask you though, if you were in a city and used Uber, and you had your choice to take a driverless or a drivered Uber, and the driverless was $10 more. Would you punch the driverless, or would you go?
I would
save $10.
I would punch the driverless at least once, so I could experience it.
Exactly. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
My ears were burning.
Hey, Mad Mike, I was glad I mentioned the Uber and you all in one word. Yeah, same sentence.
Oh, in one sentence.
Yeah.
So, just to get in a little bit on the whole AI thing.
Yeah.
I am not welcoming it. No, it's inevitable. And, unfortunately, the testing has caused death, caused property damage. I'm speaking of cars. And just, it's unfortunate because, some lady decides in the middle of jaywalking, street to run across where she has absolutely no business of being there. A human being paying attention would probably likely have seen that and stopped, or at least avoided it.
Well, maybe you're talking about the Tucson incident with Tesla?
Maybe it's very qualified, most likely, I would say. And I believe
If you're a
it
good
was
driver.
done, sure. And you shouldn't be on the road if you're not. But the testing, once it's complete, it will be better. I'm just saying it's unfortunate that there has been property damage as well, or inconvenience. They lose Wi-Fi signal or satellite access or whatever to the internet, and they all just park in the middle of the road. They don't move. They're not out of the testing stage yet. It will be definitely nice when they are. I'm for it. I know it will replace me, but
it'll take a while.
I don't even move passengers anymore. I had a chance to renew like 6 months ago, and I just haven't bothered. Now they're telling me because my car is so old, it's 2010. After April, I want a new car just so I can move people around. Now I can have a jalopy and move food.
Oh yeah, because there is a restriction on vehicle's age and everything on the.
Okay.
In different cities, they have different regulations. I believe in Scottsdale, it's only like 10 or 12-year-old vehicles they allow to keep up the image.
Yeah.
But also, on a separate note, just AI in general, my 11-year-old is just halfway through her 6th grade, first year in middle school, hates AI. And she has another good friend who she's known since kindergarten who uses ChatGPT to do her homework. And I'm sure there's others. I mean, we know what happens in high school and college. And it's sad. We're dumbing ourselves down by using it, but it's a tool. With proper use, tools can be good.
Yeah, it can be. But we've had college professors get caught doing that and stuff.
Lawyers with AI made up cases, cited cases that didn't exist.
Yeah.
There was an attorney who had something in his briefcase. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he was using it to basically do his research and his case studies and on the fly.
Yeah, it's just a nice tool.
Yep, it can be. You just got to be careful with like any other tool. You can.
And there's many different kinds. I mean, it's not singular. AI is. I mean, there's
one thing.
Probably hundreds of different AI programs out there.
Yeah. I hate to call self-driving cars AI, but I understand that they are using computers.
I think so. I appreciate the call, buddy.
Talk to you later.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're trying to obsolete him. He wanted to call up and complain.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that Tesla and Musk are probably the closest to actually having AI that works in vehicles, and but in Musk's case, it's a huge network. All the cars are in it, and they all contribute information back and forth, and it's used to train the AI. I think he's the most advanced in that, in an actual AI. I don't think the Waymo is quite an AI.
It's a different type
of system. Yeah.
Since you mentioned different apps in your phone, Edward posed something to me I found very interesting. That if you keep Lyft and Uber, those are competitors, Lyft and Uber, both apps on your phone, the apps know about each other. You check the cost on both apps, they will attempt to be cheaper than the other.
Well, that's interesting.
I had no idea.
Huh. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing, because it makes you wonder, do some apps collaborate with each other? Well, we can get this guy to accept this answer if we both give it to him.
maybe. But to have them both on your phone, it could give you potentially a better price.
Yeah. Well, he says if they compete with each other, then that's good. You're getting the best price you can.
But I don't want them looking to see if it's on my phone, but apparently, I guess that's part of the app.
Yes,
look at more than you think it's looking at, maybe.
Our digital overlords are growing stronger every day.
He also notes that drunk drivers kill more people than the test team of auto cabs have, which is true.
I'm sure that's true.
Way true. Because
the problem is that we have a spectrum of human skill that are drivers out there. You get some that are really not very good drivers, and they get intoxicated from whatever substance, or do stupid things, and then you have really good ones. So
I don't know how you get the guys that you read stories about that have been arrested for drunk driving 36 times.
Yeah, it's not good.
Where does that come from? I mean, how can that be possible? Because you'd have to be driving from jail, I would think, but apparently not.
Well,
they just turn them loose. They get back out there.
It all depends. There's different levels of drunk driving, and so if somebody who doesn't endanger anybody, maybe it's a very low level, like just a little bit over the limit. Maybe they get a better deal. I would suspect that's the case, but the penalties for drunk driving are pretty severe in almost every place in the country. I know they are severe here in Arizona.
I know it includes jail time. Is that every state, you think? Jail time?
Probably. I mean, it's usually not on the first offense, or it depends on how severe, what the alcohol level is, a lot of different things. So
I think it is on the first offense in Arizona. I mean, it's 24 hours, isn't it?
Jail time, maybe.
I think so.
Maybe.
I'd have to double check that.
Could be. I'm not a drinker, so I'm not as aware of it all, but I've known people who have.
You need to learn to experience more, Dean.
Well, there's some experiences I shy away from.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
You got to pick your experiences. You got a lot of control over what you experience. Not complete, but a lot.
Papa John's, do you even know who that is?
Yeah, pizza place.
Okay, I didn't know if you ever used them and all that. They're going to use a voice and text AI ordering agent.
Okay.
So now when you make a phone call, I guess you're not going to get somebody from India. You're just going to get some digits, some data, some program to take your order.
Possibly. Well, there's a lot of this. We have these menus, which I often find infuriating. You choose one of these three options.
Yeah. Well, that's like, your phones have been doing that forever when you call a number. But now this one's going to be, I guess, asking what your order is.
Well, right. And it could probably be done either. The phone is the most common means of connecting with companies right now, but probably can do it from a computer too.
Well, this says it takes text or voice.
Okay.
So you could text your order, but and Papa John's has an app, and you can do the app, look at the menu, and touch the ones you want, and do all that. But I guess you could even call them, and they won't do that.
Well, and so many people are going to be using the app that those of us who don't will stick out.
That's correct. And then it's going to be,
so you can't hide.
Oh no, we got one of these.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Monitor that one more closely.
Yeah, they're going to use a brand new deployed Google Cloud's omni-channel food ordering solution, whatever that is. So they've got a setup with Google to accommodate restaurants.
Yeah.
The AI agent will guide customers through complex order groups, suggest appropriate quantities, and account for preferences and food allergies.
Right. So all that'll be kept in a database and linked to your phone number.
Probably, but it'll ask you about it.
Well, it says, it'll account for allergies.
The system can also apply deals, recognize loyalty accounts, prompt ordering of past favorites. So you're going to be in the system.
Exactly.
And it should take the stress out of ordering. You notice both McDonald's and Papa John's are complaining that their jobs are stressful.
So, this reminds me of something when the raid was being done on Venezuela recently. I read a story afterwards that said that the orders for pizza at the Pentagon had spiked during that period.
Yes.
It was one of the indicators.
They've been doing that for a long time.
Sure.
The White House, whatever.
Connect that with these apps that know who orders pizza and what the preferences are.
Oh, yeah, who it is.
And then you connect the two. You get access to apps that for fast food places, pizza places, whatever, near the Pentagon, and then you mine that for data. I think that could be something that an intelligence agent could make hay with.
Yeah, it's anchovies with pineapple. We know Hegseth's in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that's what he orders.
I don't know, but what I'm saying is you might
Mm.
find very useful information. That's the type of thing a lot of intelligence people do, is try to get useful information out of publicly available sources.
Edward assures us that fearing AI is like fearing the calculator because the spreadsheet already knows the answer. I think he's off on that. I think it's more deep than that. But yeah,
I would say so. I mean, I think, well, first off, like I said, there's so many different types of AI, and many types of AI are very fallible and even will lie to you, so you can't trust them. But I think engineering AI, stuff that deals with physics, the type of thing that Musk is trying to develop and is having some success at, will get better and better at an accelerating pace.
there's an interesting comments on this article that says using AI in personalization, the food ordering agent is bringing back the feeling of being known.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
But wait a minute. It's just data. You don't know anybody. I
Well,
mean,
right. There
It's
isn't
not like
really.
walking into Cheers and everybody said, "Hey, Norm," they know you. It's
Yeah,
a computer that knows you.
well, the computer has access to information that'll give you. It does, in a sense, it knows it has memory that relates to you certain attributes. So there is that. It'll feel friendlier.
Yeah, it will. Like, they did a study on doctors' bedside manners,
Right.
Within the last year or so. And they had patients rate the bedside manners of the app versus the doctor's app won hands down.
Right. And they didn't tell the people this is an app, this is a doctor. They just said which one does better.
Yeah, I didn't know how they did it, but yeah, the app
Well,
programmed to be nice.
the app is not emotional.
Right.
It doesn't have bad days. It doesn't drink, smoke, or take drugs. It has a lot of advantages in being consistent and proper and not getting angry. There's no emotion there. So no wonder it has better bedside manner.
Papa John goes on and says, no, we're bringing the feeling back of being known, just like how you feel with your favorite bartender or barista. We're working to personalize every interaction with customers, simplify every decision for them, and remove friction with every touch point, which means they're personalizing it by taking the person out.
Yes. And it makes perfect sense. It's personalized to the customer because there's not an impersonal person that's doing it. It's an impersonal app that takes into account all of the information that's known about them.
Takes away that opportunity to date the bartender.
Yeah, it certainly does that. I wonder, you wonder how many apps get propositioned. I've heard there have been more than one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are you doing Tuesday nights? Type stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. They're talking to some computer-generated voice.
Wow. Well, they probably have an app for that too.
It's the app is programmed to discourage that. Sorry, I'm a computer programmer.
Did they say that? You think?
I've heard that type of thing has been used at least once, so I don't know if it's common anymore.
Yeah, well, I would think that would destroy the whole mystique.
Yeah, well, maybe they think the person on the line, they want to destroy the mystique at that point.
Yeah, maybe. Now, Edward reminds me, I already knew this about him, but his house uses an AI system in his house.
Yeah, they're smart houses that are getting to be more and more popular.
He does it. I mean, he's in that industry,
Sure.
the investment industry and all that. So, of course, he's going to test products. He calls it HAL, which I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That shows a level of, I don't know. It shows he remembers Stanley Kubrick.
Yes. So I asked him when he first told me that. I said, "Did you use it in the same voice?" Apparently, you can't. It's copyrighted. But something similar, but not distinguishably different. It welcomes everyone home and makes me coffee. Goes over my notes and warns me when Carrie is within 10 miles of me.
See, it's very useful for him.
Well, see, I need one, but not really. I don't need one. But yeah, I guess we just
see. When will our digital helpers become our digital minders?
Well, it's already becoming that. Right?
Yes, I agree.
So it's going to tell you what time to get up.
Yep.
Don't forget today you having a meeting to wear that blue tie.
Yes. All of that is happening.
Yeah.
Oh, and the person we're meeting likes this. Oh, don't forget to ask about his Dalmatian. He has one.
Right. Wow. And I'm sure it can inform you of
Well, they say
news in the morning of what you want to hear.
Yeah. They say
especially
good,
stock market or something.
good manners are the lubricant in a society. So maybe we'll have better manners because of this, and society may function smoother.
Possibly. Edward's well mannered.
Good.
I mean, he's quite a
He's a
host,
smart
but,
guy.
Yeah.
Manners are better
I don't
than
think he
that.
needed Hal to do that, but it probably helps though.
You know, if you have an intelligent assistant who aids in that type of thing, it becomes a habit.
Wow. He's telling me stuff now I didn't know. I mean, his AI, Hal, has access to the kids' school systems and asks them to show that they did their homework.
There you go.
Like a nanny.
It's just
a nanny.
It's just moving along. Yeah, I talked to
now would you find, and I know you're a big security guy and you don't trust a lot of stuff. Would you find that useful in your life?
I think so. I talked to my nephew who has 5 children now. They had twins a few months ago.
Yeah.
And I said, wouldn't it be handy for you if you had a robotic nanny? And I think we're headed toward we will eventually have robotic nannies.
It sounds like Ed already has.
Well, but his doesn't move around. It's a computer. I'm thinking humanoid robots.
How do you know? Oh, well, I mean, it might move digitally to his car. Or move
Sure.
It could. It says it yells at him when he violates his diet. Now,
that has to be a decision he made.
That had to be one that he allowed. And that's a parameter he put in. So live with it, Edward.
Yeah,
I don't feel bad about that. But that would be helpful.
Yes.
If that's what you want to do, is to remind you it's time to do something.
Right.
Like take a commercial break. We'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
A little bit breezy, but unseasonably warm weather to go along with that. 81 and sunny today. North wind at 10 to 15. Clear and 55 tonight. Sunny, breezy, and 82 on Thursday. Clear and 51 on Thursday night. We'll continue with 81 and sunshine and some wind on Friday. 54 and clear Friday night.
All right, do-it-yourselfer. You've got the idea, and you got your building supplies at Southwest Lumber. That's right. Now, all you need is a bunch of expensive tools to get the job done. Oh, that's right. And you know just the place to rent them. Southwest Lumber, your home for everything home improvement. Southwest Lumber has half-day to multiple-day rentals available on just about anything you need to finish the job. Rent equipment and tools on Saturday and Sunday. It's free. Stop in today at 1917 South Avenue B in Yuma. Southwest Lumber, ready for everything. What's up, Yuma, and hello, Russ Clark Show listeners. Johnny Porter here, and I just made the switch to Allo Fiber, and it's a game changer. Lightning fast speeds for streaming, working from home, and gaming. No buffering or slowed down speeds. It's time to ditch the glitch and switch to Allo Fiber.
That's probably what the driver who killed a 4-year-old told himself. And now he's in prison. If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
As women, we know one size doesn't always fit all.
When it comes to our health and well-being, things get even more complex.
That's why Go Red for Women is creating the world's largest online women's health community and platform designed to put women in the driver's seat to accelerate research.
By participating in research, you can help find solutions for women's unique health needs.
Anyone can join Research Goes Red.
Learn more at redforwomen.org/research.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you, fighting for me. He'll bring that swamp.
Hey, I'm 60 KPI. Russ Clark with you. Dean's there.
Glad to be here.
So, Dean, you're in the Navy, and you're spying China and sending them classified stuff, and you get caught.
Which Navy am I in?
United States Navy.
Oh, okay.
I guess a fair question. Yeah, I guess, a fair question. What do you think the penalty is? I mean, if you get convicted?
Prison, 10, 20 years, maybe more.
Yeah, 200 months.
200 months. That's about, what, 18 years, something, 15 years?
Yeah, 17 or so, but the 200 months. But, you know, it's a price. You got paid $12,000 over a year and a half by the Chinese. And
I'm thinking this was not the Chinese national.
I don't know.
They don't say.
He offered. It's a Chinese intelligence officer. Who knows?
Well, if it's a Chinese intelligence officer, then China has his back. When he gets out, he'll.
No. He's not the one in. The U.S. Navy guy's in. A Navy gave. I mean,
that's Chinese, what I was asking. Was the Navy guy a Chinese national?
No, I don't get that impression.
Okay.
He was.
Well, that's dumb. I mean, intelligence officers are taught to search out and find people who have vulnerabilities. They have debt.
They're looking for a pretty girl.
Absolutely.
Whoops! I had a phone call. I lost it. Phone lines are open, 928-344-5258.
So, I mean, that's one of the things we were taught, in the military was don't have these vulnerabilities and be aware that if you have them, people will try to exploit them. They will do it in subtle ways, and try and draw you in gradually.
This guy isn't a Chinese, got a Chinese name, and his last name's Wee, 25 years old. He was in San Diego, stationed on the assault ship USS XS.
Okay.
And so he gave $12,000. $12,000.
Yes.
Wow.
And maybe safety for family members back in China?
Who knows? Doesn't say anything about that.
A lot of pressure points can be brought to bear.
But it does surprise me. I mean, if you can get a Secret Service agent, which is a much higher level, probably.
I would think, yeah. Secret Service agents are usually older than 25.
This apparently is one of the larger thefts of the U.S. Navy data. We sold the intelligence officer at least 30 technical and operating manuals about U.S. Navy systems. Wow. These manuals contain export control warnings, detailed the operations of multiple systems aboard the Essex and similar ships, including power, steering, weapons control, aircraft and deck elevators, as well as damage and casualty control.
Yeah, that's very valuable stuff.
Wow.
I mean, and it's kind of available because the crew has to have access to that stuff to be able to operate the ship.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. They're probably classified at how high a level, I don't know.
Well, apparently the FBI investigators arrested him, and his first words were, "I'm screwed."
Yeah, well, he has a grasp of reality.
Look, he's obviously not a Democrat because
we don't know.
Well, I'm thinking Tim Waltz and all those guys catch him red-handed. Everything they're dancing, they're doing the jazz hands. They say it's Trump's fault.
Yeah, but they're not in the Navy and subject to court-martial for espionage. I mean, it's a very serious thing. And the fact that he knew the risk he was taking makes me wonder what pressure was brought to bear on him.
His attorney said that doesn't deny his actions were wrong, but he's young, naive, and he never intended to harm the United States.
When I was young, I did some stupid things.
Not this.
No, but I'm telling you, people who are young don't have a lot of experience are more subject to doing stupid things.
25 is not even the average age on some of these ships. The average age is lower than that.
Oh, yeah. I'm not excusing him. I'm just saying that younger people are more vulnerable.
Yeah. I think.
I think they are.
Is there any way AI can
sure replace them?
No,
but then you have the problem if the computer program gets compromised, you lose a lot more.
No, I was saying, is there any way AI can do predictive indexes of the personalities?
I would think all of that. And remember, now this is an interesting thing. I'm not sure everybody's aware of it, but a few years ago, all of the information on applications for security clearances were compromised and taken by Chinese.
That's not good.
Yes, I got notified of it. Because I was in it.
Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
May I interrupt again?
You can do that, Ted. Go right ahead.
You know the robotics you were just discussing about AI and nannies?
Yeah.
Would Arnold Schwarzenegger and Kamala's husband be alleviated from cheating on their wives if they were doing it with robots?
Either that or the
only if it was a Japanese robot.
Yeah, I was gonna say social media would be harsher. Maybe I don't know.
Robots can be programmed for a lot of things.
Tell me the truth, Ted. You want a nanny that's an AI nanny to remind you to go out and mow the lawn or something.
Yeah, but I want an Iranian one.
Iranian?
Yeah.
Why?
You don't want to know.
Prior life experience?
No, I was just curious if Arnold and Harris's husband would be alleviated from actual cheating on their wives.
Yeah, they'd be.
It's just a machine.
They probably would, but they would probably receive much more criticism. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you for your wisdom.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, of all the places we could go, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Ted.
So we were talking about Iran. Got any stories about Iran? What's going on over there?
I don't, but I've been reading. I guess up to 2,500 people killed so far.
So hard to get reliable numbers.
2,500.
It's enough. It's a significant amount.
Well, it was 500 yesterday, and of course Trump is saying that there's going to be an interaction militarily from us if you keep killing civilians and stuff. It's supposed to be the first person hung today that was protesting.
Ooh, wow! And Trump told them don't do that. That's what I heard.
I don't know if he specifically said him, but he said don't kill people. But
well, I also heard he said don't hang people.
Okay.
Now this is a direct challenge to the Iranian regime.
Well, I think he was just scream death to America and hang the guy.
Right. I mean, I think so. I mean, I've read some quotes from the great leader, the Ayatollah there or whatever, and he said, look, if we have to destroy Iran in order to bring about, the end of jihad that destroys the world and brings about the new paradise or whatever, that's good. That's fine.
Yeah.
And so the leadership there isn't really all that concerned with the people of Iran.
Well, the clerics have already left and gone to Russia.
What?
Clerics have left Iran, going to Russia for safety.
Maybe some have. Maybe I don't think all of them. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to get the noise with all the chatter out there. It's hard to know what's real and what isn't in this case because there's so much different stuff.
Well, the government shut down all the internet.
Right.
There's
we know that. That I think is clearly a fact. And we know that some Starlink channels are still valid, at least around the edges.
There's still some videos coming out.
Right. So it's, and even if the Starlink is not there, somebody can still take a video, put it on a key drive, and have it transported by person to a place where they can load it onto the internet. So there are ways of workarounds, and the regime is in serious trouble, but they don't seem to be concerned about how many people they might have to kill if they can stay in power.
And a few things I've read on this, some people are stating, and particularly those that want to see free Iran, for democracy and all that. They're saying now's the weakest they've ever been. We've got to strike now.
I think that's true. And in previous times, we had presidents, particularly Obama, who, when it looked like there might be a chance for regime change, just turned their back on the protesters.
Or released money to them.
To Iran, to the government, right?
To the government.
But now we have President Trump, who is not known to make idle threats, coming out on at least saying don't kill the protesters, which is a pretty big deal. But I mean, it's a direct challenge to the legitimacy of the regime. I mean, if a government can't kill the people it perceives as its enemies, it's not really much of a government anymore.
That's right. I mean, you're asking what? Allow the protesters that are going to dethrone me? Is what Trump's asking. Allow them to do what they're going to do, which would be their demise anyway. So, I don't know how you stop a regime like Iran from doing what they've always done. That's kill
Precision
protesters.
strikes, I guess.
But what's that? Will that stop them?
If you kill enough.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, look at with Maduro. We've seen a huge change in Venezuela, and all they did was arrest the top guy and his wife.
Yeah, but they did it in such a spectacular
Yeah,
fashion.
it was. But see my point?
Yeah,
you know
that everyone's going, whoa.
It was spectacular. I engage in internet discussions, and there are people on the internet saying, that couldn't possibly have been technology. They bought off those people.
Serious?
Yes, absolutely. And, people are saying how it's a lot harder to buy people off than it is for this technology. The technology is more likely than they bought off all these guards and all the people who operated missile systems, and they coordinated them all, and it never was figured out by anybody.
You know, something that was talked about quite a bit too amongst leaders is the effect that Venezuela is having on Russia.
Absolutely.
Ukraine,
I've said that. I've
yeah.
commented on that.
Yeah, because when they see really what the United States is capable of,
it puts more uncertainty into the equation.
Right.
And that's what you want. You want this uncertainty because when people are certain about what your capabilities are and how you will react and what you're going to do, they can figure out ways to counter it and get around it.
It also makes Trump more dangerous.
Absolutely.
And the United States more dangerous. Don't want to mess with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel good, for one, having a president that doesn't take crap. That's going to stand by his word.
I agree. I agree. And I think, the Romans, I think, first came up with this, and then Bismarck is credited with it later. And it's a famous cartridge is named at it. That is, if you want peace, prepare for war.
Right.
And the cartridge is called the Parabellum, which means prepare for war.
Oh, okay.
So the 9mm Parabellum is named after that saying.
But many presidents have said, peace through strength and stuff.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
That.
I think it's a bedrock principle of how the world works in reality.
Right.
It's the people that say, "Oh no, if we just make ourselves vulnerable, if we just give up all our weapons, if we just tell the other people how much we love them, we won't have war." Those are all invitations for invasion.
haven't seen it work yet, but
Kipling wrote about it. He had the Gods of the Copybook Headings, his famous poem. He says, I'm going to misquote it probably, but they said if we gave up our weapons, the wars of the tribes would cease. And I don't remember the rhyme, but it's when we gave them up, they bound us and handed us over to our foe.
Right.
When you and the Gods of the Copybook Heading said, stick to the danger you know.
I know that. You're talking obviously Indian tribes.
It's Kipling, Rudyard Kipling, famous English poet.
Okay.
Who wrote that. And he was talking about the illusion of gaining peace through disarmament.
Mm-hmm.
And he put it in this poem, and it was all about the experience of the British Empire.
Okay.
But he's been saying the same thing. He says you can't gain peace by being peaceful.
Right.
You have to gain peace by being ready for war. Gosh, I wish I remembered the island, but there's an island out in the South Pacific, and it had very limited resources. And the society on the island had figured out how to live peacefully. Everything was negotiated. There was a council for everything. They gauge competing interests and smooth everything out without conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had had a bunch of wars, and in the middle of them, one of the great leaders said, "This is stupid. We're killing people off for no reason. We need to get along." And so they figured out ways to get along. Well, there were some Maori tribesmen that were on a British ship that visited this place. And then they went back to New Zealand. That's where the Maori tribes are. And they said, wow, we found this place. It's ripe for the picking.
Yeah.
And they got a ship and they went there and they killed, raped, pillaged, and ate because they were cannibals.
Well, they had a good time.
And, that society was destroyed because they had no way to defend themselves.
Wow. Lessons learned.
Yeah. Well, that's just the point, is that the idea of disarming yourself to bring peace to the world is a false idea. It doesn't work.
Yeah. The Ukraine gave up her nukes and signed a pact with the United States and Russia that no one will, that they'll be protected.
Yeah, and that's a little more subtle because they didn't really have quite control of them. They were former Soviet nukes, and the U.S. and the Russians, the Soviets at the time, were saying, "Yeah, we don't want these just floating around out there." So, I mean, it's true that they gave up nukes and they got assurances that their borders would be protected, but it didn't happen. Yeah, Muammar Gaddafi gave up his nuke program too, and look what happened to him.
Yeah, he didn't fare well.
No, I think we can blame Hillary for a good chunk of that.
Well, be careful. A lot of her people that blamed her for stuff have disappeared. So,
yeah, well, she's not going to testify. I'm not going to heed the subpoena.
All right. Gavin Newsom is speaking out against the 5% wealth tax in California. You've heard of the 5% wealth tax.
Yeah, it's like a reversal for him, isn't it?
I thought so. Because he's all for taxing, pay your fair share and all that garbage.
Tax the rich, eat the wealthy, whatever you call it.
Yeah, so Newsom says this is my fear. Talking about the wealth tax that showed some California's wealthiest residents are moving money and businesses out of state.
Gee, who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, everybody. So Newsom said, this is my fear. It's just what I warned against. It's happening. The evidence is in. The impacts are very real, not just substantive economic impacts in terms of the revenue, but startups. The indirect impacts of people questioning long-term commitments, medium-term commitments. That's not what we need right now. At a time of so much uncertainty, quite the contrary. Now, this sounds like a sober Republican.
Yeah, it does, And of course, Governor Newsom, throughout his 30-plus year career, I think it's roughly that, has been instrumental in many of the policies that have been destroying California.
Correct. At least that's my observation. But in fairness to him, I looked, and he really did oppose it.
Really?
Exactly. That was my.
I mean, I'm surprised.
That was me. I was like, what? No, initially he criticized it.
And it's an initiative in California.
Yes.
It's coming up for a vote of the whole population.
Correct. It's not passed yet.
No.
But when it does pass, it's retroactive to the 1st of this year, which I don't know how they do that.
If I were a person with significant assets in California, I'd be moving out too.
Yeah, well, you and I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, both from the assets, and I won't live in California. Yeah, that's true.
Larry Ellison, Oracle chairman, he sold his mansion in San Francisco for $45 million. Gone. Google co-founder Sergey Brin and Peter Thiel shifted their businesses out of California.
So did Elon Musk.
Yeah,
a good chunk. There's still pieces there,
but more and more, and this new California saying, well, we're getting less money, let's just tax everybody for their wealth instead of income. That'll bring in money. It's just chasing more people out. They don't get it. They don't
killing the golden goose.
Yeah.
These large ventures in California that have been very productive and have made people very wealthy are the golden goose. They get a lot of tax money from them in California.
Yeah.
Well, if they chase them out of the state, they've killed the golden goose.
Larry Page, the Google co-founder, he just purchased 2 Miami properties for $73.4 million.
Yeah,
serious about moving. And none of this surprises anybody with a hit on their shoulders, I don't think. But how could someone write this in the first place? I mean, do they really think the wealthy are just going to say, well, it makes sense to me. I'll just pay 5% of my net worth, whatever that is.
No, they think we'll just take it. you're wealthy. We're going to take your stuff because you're wealthy and we don't like it.
But the deal is you have to live in California.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Do they
that's
not
part
realize these people can move?
No, they don't. Or we've heard people say this is about New York and talking about how they're, Miami talking about how they're going to go after the wealthy people there. And people on the left, when they are told that these billionaires are leaving, they say, good riddance, not realizing that that's how they get the taxes to support the welfare state.
That's what they've said all along. Like Rush Limbaugh was one of the first I remember.
Right.
They're saying good riddance in the 90s. He was in the late 90s when he left New York.
John Hannity has moved out.
Yeah. They all say good riddance. And then they look around and we got socialism in Mondani and tax base is like not good.
Well, people cite Nordic countries, like Sweden, Norway, and others. But what they don't realize is those countries gave up on socialism as the type they're thinking of a long time ago because it doesn't work. So they became more capitalist.
Top of the hour. So we have to take a break. It's 8 o'clock. We'll be back. AM 560, KBLU.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
Thanks, but no thanks. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. As the foreign ministers of Greenland and Denmark, detail Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are meeting this hour in Washington. They don't want the U.S. to take over the Danish territory, but President Trump keeps insisting. In a Truth Social post, Fox's Chris Foster reads, NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. Anything less than that is unacceptable. He also writes, it's vital for the Golden Dome that we are building, the missile defense system the Pentagon is developing. The post comes a day after Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Fredrik Nielsen said, Greenland will not be part of the USA. We choose the Greenland we know today, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. The president's response to reporters.
I disagree with him. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
Well, the president is also warning Iran over a deadly crackdown on protests that now includes fast trials and an execution reportedly today. He tells CBS News.
When they start killing thousands of people and now you're telling me about hanging, we'll see how that works out for them. It's not going to work out good.
As he considers possible military action, Iran could consider retaliation. So Fox has learned from U.S. military personnel have been told to leave bases in the Middle East. It's been a week now since the deadly ICE shooting in Minneapolis. Protesters called that murder continued last night, clashing with federal agents. Fox's Matt Finn has been there watching.
Federal officers used crowd control tactics like tear gas and pepper balls. Now, also yesterday, protesters surrounded federal officers as they were taking people into custody in a Minneapolis neighborhood. Now, Minneapolis police tell Fox they've arrested 31 protesters since Renee Good's death.
Homeland Security maintains Good was interfering with ICE operations and drove toward an officer. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, a Democrat, has demanded ICE get the bleep out of his city. He tells Fox and Friends they are acting unconstitutionally in his city. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Business edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa. Michaela! Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Hey, folks, many of us grew up on these high-sugar cereals, Frosty Flakes, even Raisin Bran. You need to make the healthier switch to Grainberry, created by my dear friend Peter Harris and his father. It is lower in sugar. It's made with natural fiber, antioxidants, whole grain onyx sorghum, and that helps slow sugar absorption. Now, the taste will win you over, and you can pick up Grainberry bran flakes or any of their other great flavors. Make the switch. Grainberry, the official cereal of the Sean Hannity.
From the News 11's information desk, I'm Jayleen Aguilera. An academy graduation was held for Arizona Western College's law enforcement students across the desert Southwest. After a grueling 22 weeks of hard work, Class 55 graduated from Arizona Western College Law Enforcement Training Academy. All officers are required to complete tasks such as defensive tactics, firearms driving, and physical agility tests within the 22 weeks in order to graduate. The students went through weeks of not seeing their family, studying, getting up early, and sacrificing their time to be a part of the law enforcement family. The director of the academy who wants to leave the students with a little advice, saying, keep your integrity, always know what you're doing, and if you don't know, ask questions so you can be better and better serve our community. Congratulations to all the law enforcement graduates. Catch us on the TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for the latest local news, weather, and sports.
All right, do-it-yourselfer, you've got the idea, and you got your building supplies at Southwest Lumber. That's right. Now all you need is a bunch of expensive tools to get the job done. Oh, that's right. And you know just the place to rent it. Southwest Lumber, your home for everything home improvement. Southwest Lumber has half-day to multiple-day rentals available on just about anything you need to finish the job. Rent equipment and tools on Saturday and Sunday. It's free. Stop in today at 1917 South Avenue B in Yuma. Southwest Lumber. Ready for everything.
There's a man in D.C. AM 560 KBLU. Dean's back with me. Glad to be here. And I have a caller, Dean. Caller's on the line. Good morning.
Hey, Russ, how the hell are you doing? It took me all day long to get a hold of you this here morning.
We're doing well, Gilbert. It's got to be on your side, Dean, because it's not here. Go ahead, buddy. What are you up to, Gilbert?
Well, I got some humor today.
Uh-oh.
The humor is, I told my beautiful wife, when I die, I want you to put a whole bunch of pictures of you in my casket. And she goes, why? I says, when I get to heaven, I can tell God I've already been through hell, so I'm okay.
Oh no. And you're still in good enough health to make this phone call. That's awesome.
Well, I got my oatmeal with blueberries.
Okay. That's good.
So did you guys hear about? Well,
so when you get
yeah. Anyway, did you hear about California and their college loans that they've been getting since 2024? They've had fake applications. Most of the classes that are in there right now, the students, they're fake. We're talking to the amount of $10 million for 2024 were fake applications.
And I guess I don't know how that application system works. Does that go through the college itself?
The college, well, you get your grants and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and they found that a lot of these applications are from overseas by computers.
And they got approved.
Interesting.
$10 million. Now, let's see where those applications, those people are. Are they a group? Are there an organization that work together to get all these applications?
A lot of
it sounds
scammers.
like it's scammers. Scammers get together and go, hey, let's create this organization and get all this fake money. Because, when are they ever checked? The applications, are they ever checked?
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know how the system works there, but yeah, I mean, once people figure out a vulnerability, it just spreads around, and you go to get the maximum grift you can. That's the way I would see it. Once they figured out you could do it, it spreads all over.
$10 million was what they know of.
Yeah, it's probably going to be more.
Oh, yep. And hey, the Summer Olympics in LA. Is that right? Is that right, Russ?
I think so. Is it this summer? No. What year is it? Is it?
What year?
Okay.
Don't know.
I don't look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm wondering how in the world did they get security to have the Olympics in LA? That's mind-boggling.
Well, they did it years ago.
Uh-huh.
No, it's going to be 28. It's going to be summer 28. I thought so.
Okay, good. But still, for them to have it, unless a lot of things change, well, maybe Newsom will be gone by then, huh?
Well, Newsom will be gone as far as governor. I mean, he'll be.
Yeah. I'm talking about gone.
Yeah.
His influence. But I still remember the wrestlers from Israel that were.
Oh man, that was 70s.
Yeah.
I
I remember.
blew up the helicopter and everything. Yeah.
No, the ones in the motel.
Oh, yeah, that's a long time ago.
Wasn't there a helicopter involved in it too? Something like they were trying to get out of a helicopter or get them onto a helicopter. I don't know.
No, these guys were killed in their hotel.
Okay.
At the Olympics, I think that was in Germany, and where I'm trying to think. I forget the name of the city.
Was it Munich?
Munich, yeah, Munich.
Yeah. So
that's like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a memory, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Still a memory, and we're still.
And the Israelis worked hard to hunt those people down. And
it was 1972 Munich, exactly.
Yeah, I was 22 years old.
LA's an embarrassment.
Yeah. Yeah, Carter says LA's an embarrassment. We have family there, and they're shaking their heads now. They're starting to wake up. You know, that's great. That's great. And anyway, I just called and asked you about the Olympics and the fact that $10 million right now disappeared, and it's all taxpayers' money, right?
Yeah.
All these grants and aids.
well, yeah, yes, it's hard to tell what the mix is. If it's all federal or state, it's probably a mix of both.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I thought I'd just bring it up.
Thank
I'll
you, sir.
catch you in the rebound. Bye.
Bye. Well, I had to ask my AI, and it said Palestinian terrorists killed 11 Israel Olympic team members, including wrestlers Mark Slavin, that is, by shooting them in helicopters during a failed rescue. I remember the helicopters.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it wasn't shot in a hotel; it was shot as a failed rescue. I thought one of them blew up too, or something. I don't
Could
know.
be.
It's been a long time ago, but I do remember it.
Right.
It was terrible at the time. I hate to think I'm that old, Dean.
If you live long enough, you get older.
Yeah, that's part of it. Hey, Alito is pressing the trans female in the SCOTUS hearings.
Yeah, Justice Alito at the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah, I was sure you were aware of that.
Yeah, I'd heard of it.
Which the whole hearing is about biological male athletes.
Yeah, I heard Ketanji Brown didn't come off really well.
Well, she didn't in the hearings when she was first in Congress. She was asked to define a woman. You can't do that. I'm not a biologist. I know. It's what we have. This case is Little versus Hecox. It's about the definition of a woman and a girl. So Alito asked Kathleen Hartnett, who's arguing on behalf of the Idaho student, in the Supreme Court case. He says, what it means, this is Alito, what it means to be a boy or girl or a man or woman when it came to equal protection purposes. I'll read this answer, but I don't understand it yet. Maybe you could help me figure it out. School may have separate teams for students classified as boys and a category of students classified as girls. Agree, there needs to be an understanding of what it means to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman. Sorry, I misunderstand your question. I think the underlying enactment, whatever it was, the policy, the law, we'd have to have understanding of how the state or the government was understanding that term to figure out whether someone was excluded. We do not have a definition for the court. We're not disputing the definition here. What we're saying is that the way it applies in practice is to exclude birth sex males categorically from women's teams, and there's a subset of those birth sex males where it doesn't make sense. So to do so according to the state's own interest. That's her answer.
Who's speaking there?
That is the lawyer.
Oh, okay.
The lawyer speaking to Alito's question of what's it mean to be a man, boy, or a girl. Or
which side are they on? It sounds to me like they're on the state side.
No, they're on the student side. That student wants to play as a girl. So I read that and I thought, this sounds like our former VP Harris.
It does. Yeah, it's kind of a word salad. Yes.
Yeah, it didn't mean anything. Well, so
Now, what they're saying is that, we need a legal definition in the law to say what is a man or a woman, and you didn't put one in the original law, so we can figure it out now.
So now we can interpret what you mean when it's boys' sports.
Right. But of course, when the original law was written, there was no question about whether a person was a man or a woman.
I can't believe a lawyer would talk like that at the Supreme Court, though. I mean, that just sounds nonsensical to me.
Well, there's that old saying, if you can't dazzle them with your brilliance, baffle them with something.
But Alito was patient. He says, how can a court determine whether there's discrimination on the basis of sex without knowing what sex means for equal protection purposes?
Exactly.
Because she just put up there, we don't know what it means. Well, then how can you say it's discrimination?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, what a great question by Alito. But he said it in a few words. She said the word salad that meant nothing. Harriet says, I think here we just know. We basically know that we've identified, pursuant to their own statute, Lindsay qualifies as a birth sex male, and she is being excluded categorically from the women's team as a statute. So we're taking the statute's definition as we find them, and we don't dispute them. We're just trying to figure out, do we create an equal protection problem?
Yeah. So she's claiming, or the lawyer is claiming, that the equal protection law, since it didn't have lots of definitions about what was a male or female when it was written, is vague, and so they can shoehorn.
And we're not giving this person a protection. I understand that. Which Alito's smart enough.
Yeah, he figured it. He stated it right away.
He says, he posed a hypothetical question to Harry about a boy who has never taken any kind of puberty blockers or any medication, but believed they were a girl, and whether his school can say the boy cannot participate on the girls' team sport. She said the hypothetical wasn't necessarily what her side was arguing. The issue at hand is whether laws in Idaho or West Virginia that prohibit transgender athletes who identify as women from playing on teams that match their gender identity discriminate on based on sex. I'm reading this and I'm looking at it, and none of it makes sense. Alito does.
Oh, I can understand what they are saying. They're trying to make the sexuality of a person ambiguous.
Right.
And
that I get.
And so then they're saying if it's ambiguous, we go with what that person says. But that's not reality. Reality doesn't work that way. Now, there are a very tiny number of people that those chromosomes don't exactly match up. They got two X's,
and they use that as the
Ys.
example for everybody.
But that's just almost so rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very tiny number. And that's not what they're talking about.
It's an embarrassment for me, though, to read that. I'm thinking, how could she be a lawyer? But maybe her whole idea is just to make it baffle, make it complex, make it ununderstandable. But I don't think Supreme Court's going to fall for that, except for Ketanji Brown, maybe. But they'll cut through that.
I think so. And Alito, in my opinion, is one of the most intelligent justices on the court.
Yeah.
He's very sharp, very, very sharp. Now, all of them are sharp. Even Ketanji Brown is not really stupid. She just has this ideological component so that her analysis is so badly mangled by ideology.
Yeah. It's just mind-boggling to me that that's what it takes to go to the Supreme Court and argue a case.
And consider this. If Trump hadn't named 3 justices to the Supreme Court, we would have completely different results.
Edward sent me an article on the scammers that stole $10 million. It's just in the last 12 months. That's getting close to $1 million a month. That's pretty good business.
Yeah. When I look at it just seems like such a minor thing compared to Minnesota.
But how
many, you have 9 to 10 billion versus the 10 million. It's 1,000 to 1.
All of Minnesota's are 1.2 million here, 2.4 million.
Yeah,
here.
you got a point.
They all add up.
Yeah, you start adding $1 million here.
You start to talk money.
Yeah, right. Old joke.
And this article says they've been targeting community colleges across the state, posing to students in order to steal money from scholarships or financial aid. Problem's getting worse. College leaders are saying they're worried that the Trump administration cuts into the U.S. Department of Education could hamper fraud prevention. You see, that is just crap.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, what is the U.S. Department of Education ever done to prevent fraud in the first place? It's thrown back to the states. The states are supposed to do it. I'm sure they put out rules, regulations, and
Yeah, I
parameters.
think so. I don't know. I mean, the problem
But
is
this whole bit is calling it Trump's fault all of a sudden.
Yeah, right.
I know.
The problem is that big bureaucracies in the government thrive on money flowing through them. The more money, the better for them. So they don't have a lot of incentive to.
Yeah, and the more money, the better, because they
check.
figure we get more money coming to the college.
Sure.
If they go.
So where's the incentive to prevent the fraud?
Right. The 21 California chancellor's office reported that about 20 to 25% is fake. College applications are likely fake.
Wow.
That's 1 in 4, 1 in 5. That's crazy.
20 to 45%, so about a third.
I'm crazy. It's crazy.
It's huge.
Well, that's what it was in 21. Now it's 34%.
A third.
From 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 to 1 in 3.
Yeah.
What are?
But I mean, I see this as part of the problem we have with phone scammers or internet scammers and all that. A lot of these people are probably from other countries. They found out that if you can put in a plausible looking application, you might end up with thousands of dollars.
Now, it says here that they've given away $10 million in federal dollars.
That's the federal dollars.
And $3 million in local dollars.
Okay.
But they're responsible. The state
For administering the federal.
administering it.
Yeah.
So and that's just like in Minneapolis, they're responsible for administering the double checks on the child care services and everything else.
Yes.
And they've been part of the fraud, it looks like, allegedly.
Well, yeah.
So,
I mean,
it's time for the feds to ask for their money back.
Well, then I thought President Trump said we're not going to give out money to particular states that have shown a lot of fraud.
Well, yeah, like 5 or 6 of them. But until now, it's not forever.
No,
it's until they disclose records and show them where it's going and give backup.
Yeah, well,
which doesn't exist.
That's not unreasonable.
No, should have been done all along. It should have been the program from the start.
I would think that it would be included in the grants themselves. Would have some sort of mechanism saying that, look, we're giving you this money. We expect records. If we ask for something, you have to give them to us.
Yeah, and then they say states' rights. Well, don't take federal money then.
Exactly. I mean, that's been I would say law.
Edward says the
decades.
courts have stated that Trump cannot stop funding from states Trump wants data from.
So,
okay, if the courts say that, you got to keep giving them money. Doesn't matter. They find one.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll
bet it's
is the
disputed.
court really going to say that you have to keep sending money even if you know it's being stolen and they refuse to comply with the restrictions?
I don't think the Supreme Court has ruled in on it yet. We will see.
Fraud, according to the courts, is not a reason to stop the funds from flowing. It's not fraud that he stopped it for. He stopped it. Yeah, fraud is what triggered the investigation, but he stopped it until he get this paperwork.
Yeah,
but maybe he said it was fraud.
It's Trump has been batting very well. His Justice Department is very good on defending these moves at the Supreme Court level.
I think he's won.
We will see. It's like 23 out of 25 or something like that. Might be more.
It's in the mid-20s, but I think it was only one loss.
One or maybe two. But yeah, that's an incredibly good batting average.
Amazing batting average, but I think they're purposely throwing a lot of junk at him. That they don't care if they win or lose it. It ties them up for a while. Is my
well, I think that's part of the strategy,
right? And that's what it appears to be.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, one of my fact checkers, when we were talking about wealth tax, isn't taxing wealth double taxation? Yes.
So we get taxed double, triple, quadruple all the time.
Well, this is a little more obvious, but I know what you're saying because we get taxed on the income we make, and then we go to the store, we get taxed again on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's taxed on what we buy. We have a what we make tax and what we buy tax.
Yeah, yeah.
What we live on tax, as far as property values and stuff.
Right. I mean, realistically, you look at
But how else are we going to pay the Somalians if we don't tax enough?
Yeah.
Come on, have a heart.
Oh man, yeah. That's a cruel joke.
Pennsylvania lawmakers are straightening things out. Looks like a Philadelphia sheriff, Rochelle, and a district attorney, Larry. They're thinking of prosecuting ICE officers.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
in fact, the Larry Krasner, he's the district attorney, says any ICE agent that is going to come to Philly to commit crimes should get the F out of here. He will charge, arrest, prosecute such agents. He argued that President Donald Trump could not step in and pardon because cases will be brought at the state level, which they learned from other prosecutions of Trump.
Oh, sure. Well, that's been known for quite a while. Of course, the big supposition in his claim is that if they come to Philly to commit crimes, well, they're not coming to Philly to commit crimes.
Well, I guess to them, crime is in the eye of the beholder. I don't know.
Enforcement of federal law because of the supremacy clause in the Constitution cannot be a crime in state court.
There you go with all this, too much, facts. Don't be so literal.
But now, if they abuse their power, that could be a crime.
And everyone would okay that. I mean, I don't know. Well, not everyone, but by and large, you see somebody abused, they're going to get in trouble. I haven't seen it done yet. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
The bigotry in your station is rampant this morning. First, you're against the blacks of Somalians. Now you're against the mentally impaired of California.
Wow. I guess I've turned racist.
Next thing you know, we'll be against the white guys.
Yeah.
No, you're bigoted.
I'm
racist and bigoted.
Racist and bigoted, both.
God. First against the blacks and the Somalians, now against the California legislature.
But see, that's why I stopped shaving, because I can't face myself in the mirror.
I think the race card's maxed out.
Yeah, I think it is. I think I've been raced up already. Yeah.
Thank you. I feel so much better.
Thank you, buddy. Take care, man.
Bye.
You just want to get that racist thing.
Yeah.
Well, this Philadelphia sheriff, Rochelle, she says ICE officers are fake wannabe law enforcement. That's coming from an elected sheriff?
Well, and the sheriff in Philadelphia, my understanding, is mostly administrative.
Is it? Well, she says, you don't want this smoke because we're willing to bring it to you. Sounds like Housewives of New Jersey.
Yeah, it kind of does.
It does. And this is after an ICE agent was shot, Minneapolis woman and all that stuff.
Right.
So the top lawmakers of the state Senate committee, Senator Jared Coleman, said statements by the Philadelphia district attorney and the sheriff are simply empty threats. The district attorney and sheriff know they can't interfere, and they won't interfere with federal law enforcement. If they do obstruct their law enforcement efforts, the Pennsylvania Senate will be the least of their worries.
Yeah, well,
right? That sounds sobering.
It sounds reasonable.
Yeah, it sounds reasonable. Yeah. Uh-oh. Edward's probably checking me on the housewife things. Well, he just comments the housewife series are very popular. Maybe it's like the sheriff's looking for popularity.
Yeah. She got elected in, Pennsylvania, so she maybe is doing what she thinks her constituents want her to do.
I guess, but it's just kind of hard to believe that the governance of our states, governance of our communities are becoming such a joke. I mean, a circus of just attitude and instead of law.
We're seeing this growing divide between red and blue. And, the red states are gaining in population. And the red states generally do a better job of governance, especially if you take out the blue cities that happen to be in red states.
Yeah.
And I think it's because conservatives just have a better understanding of reality.
But I don't know it's accepted well by the Philadelphia sheriff.
No. I mean, it's a real problem if you have based your whole life on a view of reality that is suddenly being
She's making her point in
found to be
to say
wrong.
that the ICE want to be cops. But
Yeah, it's kind of a silly thing.
it is how is she supposed to be taken seriously at that point?
She's not.
Not by us, but apparently her crowd that watches Housewives for New Jersey.
Maybe.
Look at that and say, "You go, girl."
I think this is only about 25% of the population, or even the electorate. It's just not a popular stance, but because it is based on these false ideas about how reality works, it's really hard. If you base your whole life on a vision of reality that is shown to be wrong, you can't. It's hard to say, all my life I've made wrong decisions based on falsehoods. It's very difficult. People can't easily do that.
I know you know about this article. Federal prosecutors are opening a criminal investigation into the Fed and Jerome Powell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Opinions just off the top. I mean, this has never been done before. This is kind of new.
Well, the Feds have been like, this area where nobody is willing to go after them because they have so much power.
They're a private company and they have a lot of power.
Semi-private. It's not. It has government.
They don't turn.
They get appointed by the president. People. And Powell lied to Congress. It appears to me he lied because they started asking him about this refurbishment of this big palace.
And that's what this investigation is about, the refurbishment. It's not about the interest rates.
Right.
Although it is about the interest rates.
In a way.
I would imagine.
And so they said, what about this and this? And they said, I don't know anything about that. Well, now they found they're investigating and they found out, you kind of signed off on some of this stuff. At least that's my impression. And so you lied to us. Well, we're going to open up a criminal investigation to see if you warrant prosecution.
This reserve building, Federal Reserve building, is costing $2.5 billion in renovations, and just renovation. I don't even know how many employees they have, but that seems like a lot. And apparently, it is going to be palatial.
Well,
with fountains and all kinds.
My understanding, there's a cost overrun of about $1 billion.
Correct. That's what I've read also.
And so that's significant. But if you're in charge of the Fed, it could be that $1 billion doesn't seem like much money to you.
Well, and apparently Trump wants the books. They don't want to give the books up. It's none of your business.
Right.
It's our operation. You just pay for it.
Right. Now, the theory behind the Fed is that it's independent and it's a progressive organization. We will have independent experts who don't have any skin in the political game. They will just make decisions for the good of the country. As long as they're progressives, they'll make decisions for the good of the country, is what they said at the time.
Yeah.
And, well, what we found out is that these people at the Fed often have political views and act in political ways. And so then if they aren't independent, then they shouldn't be claiming to be independent.
Yeah, well, I think that came obvious when during the when Biden was running for president,
right?
And they lowered the rates when nobody expected it, like it didn't make sense.
Yes, that's one of the accusations.
Yeah, and now when it does make sense to lower the rates, they held up on Trump.
Yes.
So there definitely was, according to a lot of analysts, I'm not one that could analyze that, but according to a lot of the analysts, it just...
But the Fed has for over 100 years been essentially sacred cows that nobody has been willing to touch.
And this one is way outside the parameter of acceptability, according to Jerome Powell. He was kind of agitated when he got...
Yeah. Because how dare you? How dare you look at me?
Do you know who I am?
Exactly. And my understanding, I could be wrong, is that President Trump has not initiated this. This is the House that has initiated it, not the president.
Yeah, it's going to Congress. It's not. Right.
That Congress is asking for the investigation, asking for potential criminal referral. So did President Trump coordinate with somebody on it? I don't know. It's not impossible.
Well, no, it's not. He said, Powell said the threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public rather than following the preference of the president.
See, we're the experts. We're going to do what we want.
But this lawsuit has to do with your building, not with the rate.
Right, exactly. And he's trying to make the claim that
they're just
two are
mad at me,
separated.
so they're going after this.
Right.
And it may be true.
But, what's that old saying that I've heard from the left often? If you didn't do anything wrong, why are you worried about an investigation?
Trump said he will not renominate, have hammered on the Fed's traditional political independence, and even said he would have a say in his rate decisions, which theoretically the president doesn't have a say, although they appoint people.
And all of this is part of the administrative state that was created basically by FDR, although he maybe had an assist by Wilson before that, which the whole idea of it is that they aren't elected and they're not subject to election. So essentially we have this oligarchy of administrators that run the country and we can't tell them anything. Well, that's changing. President Trump's first president in over 100 years that has said, we're going to challenge them. They don't get to decide to run the country. I've been elected. You guys are just put in place.
Edward tells me that that Powell went to the Biden White House every month.
Wow.
I bet he doesn't go to the Trump White House.
Exactly. That tends to show a certain partisanship.
Yeah.
And you can see, I'm independent. I just always do what the Democrats want.
Yeah.
Because I'm independent. Independent people would always do what the Democrats want.
NBC News interviewed Trump and asked about this. He says, and Trump said, I don't know anything about it, but he's certainly not very good at the Fed. And he's not very good at building buildings.
Well, Trump is an expert building builder.
That's what he's done.
So he might be able to say something, I think, with a degree of expertise about building buildings.
Edward corrected me on Powell going to the Trump White House. He has been once.
Only once? That's a big difference.
In this term. Once.
Well, in this term. Oh, okay. But he was frequent flyer at the White House in the previous term.
I don't know. Didn't Trump appoint him?
Yes. I think he did back in his first term.
Yeah.
But Trump appointed a lot of people who then stabbed him in the back.
Oh, yeah, because he was taking advice from others and looking to build a team of more like Lincoln, where you put enemies out there and you win them all over because they're going to see how hard you work, and didn't work out.
No.
We live in different times.
Right.
Do you believe Trump when he says he didn't know anything about it?
I believe, yes, I do, in the sense that I don't think he directed it. Obviously, he's been critical of Chairman Powell for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think he may have sort of been involved just because he's critical, and people say, yeah, we should go after this guy. But they're in the House of Representatives, not in the executive branch. That's what I think is going on.
Trump apparently did get visited 3 times in his first term by Powell.
Okay.
That's it. Not every month.
Right.
3 times. Now, this article says that Trump's pressured Powell with a barrage of personal insults, everything. All true.
That's certainly true.
We've been watching them. That's been going on. There already is a Republican congressman that said they will not let Trump appoint anybody that he wants or something. I mean, they're mad about this attack and stuff, and there's a chance he may not get to appoint the person he wants because it may be held up.
Well, so what?
I don't know.
That's just ongoing. That's been the case forever.
Yeah. What good does that do?
Well, it gets the congressman airtime.
I guess so.
Might help with his reelection, or maybe he wants to be perceived as more central, middle of the road, or whatever.
Did you watch that tour that Powell gave Trump on the new building construction?
No, I did not.
I did. He looked very nervous. Powell did. He looked,
really?
He wasn't in a situation like, well, he's got cameras following him, and
not something he's used to, right?
No. I mean, I'm not blaming him for it.
the Fed has pretty much been sort of a sacred cow.
Yeah.
They wield all this power. Don't get them pissed off at you. Kind of thing.
It's a Senate that approves, not a congressman. And there might have been a senator that came forward. So I think it was. But,
yeah, the Senate approves of these appointments.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, of course, he's a Trump lover, a hater. I mean, yeah.
Schumer has not been a fan of President Trump. Correct.
No, he has not. And he's been over the top himself.
Yes, he has.
He said Trump's assault on the Fed's independent continues threatening the strength and stability of our economy. This is the kind of bullying that we've all come to expect from Donald Trump and his cronies. Anyone who is independent and doesn't just fall in line behind Trump gets investigated. I don't
Oh, God, that's rich when you look at what the Biden administration did to Trump.
Yeah, I know.
And the January 6ers and all that.
Yeah, but so these guys are all stunned that Trump is who he is. Oh, it was Senator Tom Tillis, North Carolina, said he will hold Trump's Fed appointment, which I don't understand what's got under his bonnet. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of as I recall, I'm trying to think, he's sort of a rhino, as I recall.
I don't remember.
I don't think he's a Trumpian.
I was kind of surprised when I first read that little blurb of
Of
the
course,
story.
it's easy for him to say that. It doesn't cost him hardly anything.
Well, it cost him,
An endorsement by Trump.
Yeah, his help from Trump, or
Yeah, but when's his next election?
I don't know.
Look at that.
I don't know, but we'll see where the Fed goes. But I wrote down some of the rates, the interest rates the other day, like European rates are almost a point below us for Europe, not UK. UK is about where we are. But some are higher, like Venezuela, it's at 40 something.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's their inflation. I don't know if they have
And
better rate.
I mean, when I look back at some of the rates that I experienced in my lifetime, back in the
70s,
late 70s, and
Yeah.
they're hitting 15, 20%
for houses.
Yeah. And,
Yeah,
so
17, I think it was a high. I can remember peaked out somewhere around there.
I'm trying to think. I think my first house, it might have been like 10 or 13%.
It just means you buy less house.
Well, that's right. Spend more of your payment goes to interest instead of principal.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't like those interest rates.
No, but you got to live.
Right.
You got to have a house.
Right.
So you get a smaller house.
Yeah, we had saved up some money. I think we put about almost half down.
There you go. Yeah, but if the interest rates were low, you could have bought.
That's right. All of what you're saying is correct.
Right. Although I've lived in a big house and now I live in a small house. It's a lot less to clean.
Well, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
there's something to be said for not letting your possessions possess you.
Exactly.
And the more possessions you have, the more time you have to take. Unless you have enough money to hire a bunch of people, and then you got to manage them.
Correct. And yeah, we did have somebody come to our house when I lived in Mesa del Sol every week. Because I mean, it was 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
It was a lot, and there's 5 bathrooms. So we had some help there, but I enjoyed it. And we lived there for 12, 13 years or so, but I enjoyed it. But it was I would have to work very hard for the income to keep that up. It's not worth it, to keep that stuff up. So
I mean, I think a lot of people figured that out eventually.
Yeah.
And of course, so much of size of house and everything is wrapped up in how much status we think we need to show.
Well, that was it. We were entertaining a lot, doing the politics, having parties at the house regularly, stuff like that. So yeah, it was not just a place to lay your head down.
Right.
It's more than that. I don't have anybody at the house anymore.
Now you have the radio show, so you don't need that.
Well, I had the radio show back then.
That's true. I
I
remember
did.
that.
Yeah, I've been doing the radio show many years before I built the house. I had the radio show.
Right.
You heard about that U-Haul truck that drove through the anti-Iranian regime and all that stuff? It's
I
kind of
did
a
hear about
mystery.
it. I read about it a little.
A 48-year-old guy. He's I guess he was I can't remember. He was an Iranian. He was an Iranian. He drove into the protesters, but I saw a little bit of the footage of it, and he actually hit the brakes. He didn't actually run people over.
Okay.
But he was driving through it and disrupting, and he had a big sign on the side of his U-Haul. He rented a U-Haul so he could put a big sign on it. No Shah, no regime, USA, don't repeat 1953, no mullah. So I guess he's
He was a counter-protester.
Counter-protest. So he thought it'd be a good idea just to run this down the drive. And at first when I thought U-Haul truck drove through a parade or a protest, we've
worried about casualties. Yeah.
We've had too many images that's what they've done. They've gone down and tried
absolutely.
And just run people down.
There's been a lot of severe mass casualty events.
No, this guy actually, he hit the brakes, but people were running and they ran towards the trucks. Now the crowd climbed onto the truck, stomped the windshield. He tried to get out. They kicked the door shut on his hand. Oh yeah. I mean, the crowd got violent.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't the right thing to do to drive a U-Haul. But anyway, they have these Iranian flags they were running down the street with, and they started sticking them through with a broken window and jabbing him, spearing him with.
Well, he took a serious risk, I think.
Yeah, the police got there to save him, actually.
Yeah.
The crowd would have ripped him apart, it looks like.
Yeah, well.
Who was that guy, Denny something, that got beat up in L.A. riots and his head stomped on?
Yeah. I remember Reginald Denny.
Reginald Denny. He was ready to fit that role right there, but
he was close.
Yeah, the LA Police Department said at this time one person was confirmed struck by the vehicle, an adult male. However, no significant injuries has been reported. So, I mean, this guy was hitting the brakes, but probably somebody flopped on the ground.
Or maybe he had second thoughts,
Well, a rescue ambulance treated the individual at the scene. No one's been transported to the hospital for medical treatment. That was all.
But they're only talking about one individual.
One guy.
So how about the guy that was in the truck?
Oh no, he's in trouble. No, he
was injured.
He was not. He wasn't sent to the hospital either.
Oh well, then the injuries were.
I think the cops got there in time.
Not that severe.
The truck was impounded. Poor U-Haul. They're going to have a damage bill to take care of.
Oh well, I mean, you rent those. You usually give your credit card, and the credit card, they have it and they charge for damages.
Yeah, so he's at least thinking in the windshield. I would imagine it's going to be beat up beyond that. These mobs anymore that protest are
very possible.
They're mobs. So it's impounded though, so they don't even get to use it. So it's something I didn't think about.
See, they keep charging as long as they don't have their truck back.
Right.
That's the way those rental car contracts are written.
Yeah.
And I'm very leery about renting cars. I treat them very, very carefully because you are on the hook for anything that happens to that car. You can get insurance, of course.
I buy the insurance, particularly when I was in Ireland and didn't know and stuff. And thank goodness I did. I ripped off that passenger mirror.
Right.
Which no big deal. And they go, oh no, and then they say, oh, you got the insurance. Don't worry about it. Go ahead, get it. Which it wasn't intentional. I didn't think, well, I got insurance. Let's just tear it up. The police reported afterwards nothing significant inside, and I didn't even think about that. But they had the wherewithal. We're going to check every inch of that, make sure there's no explosive devices, nothing.
Well, yes. I mean, in a situation like that, you definitely want to see what's in the box.
Yeah.
I mean, because these rental cars have been used for mass casualty events before.
Usually Penske, though. Or is it Ryder? It's Ryder.
Rather than U-Haul, maybe.
Yeah. They use Ryder for some reason. I don't know if that's an advertisement for the show.
I don't know.
But that's what they used in the Oklahoma bombing. Was
a Ryder truck.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
The Iranian American Republican Council released a statement concerning the incident. We strongly condemn the violent act and call on the appropriate authorities of the United States to conduct a full and transparent investigation to hold those responsible fully accountable under the law. So which violent act are they talking about? Poking the driver with the poles and smashing his hand, or driving the truck?
Yeah, it's not absolutely.
I mean, which one? Which one is violent?
I think they're complaining about the crowd reaction.
No, they're part of the crowd. That was their. They support independence, so I'm assuming they supported the protest.
Right, but if it was an Iranian government complaining, Iranian Council, I thought you said.
No, it's the Iranian American Republican Council.
Oh, okay.
And they're the one that supporting the
gotcha.
protest. So they're going to say violence by the
okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I misinterpreted that.
Well, I probably didn't explain it right. Let me see
Well, let me mention a little bit about the National Firearms Act.
Okay.
Which the reform was passed in 2025 to do away with the tax for silencers, suppressors, short-barreled rifle shotguns, any other weapon. Well, on January 1st, that went into effect, and people started applying in droves because there was no more tax. They had to pay $200 tax. You just had to submit the application. And they have submitted, it appears, in the first 10 days, over 1 million applications.
Tell me about the application. When you do the application, you have to write the part number or who you're buying or what you're buying, or just for a silencer?
It depends on what exactly you are doing. If you're making a silencer, you have to put down the caliber and the length of it.
Okay.
If you are making a short-barreled rifle out of an existing firearm, you have to get the serial number and take a picture showing the maker and all that so that they know the right one. So it varies. But to put this in perspective, there were 5 million silencers that we believe were registered before this, and now we've added 1 million more applications. The total NFA numbers, I think, are under 10 million, and that's over a 90-year period. You got 10 million. Now you have 1 million more in 10 days. It's really rather remarkable.
It is, and there's no fees now, but there's still paperwork.
Right. But once you submit one application, it's in the system. Then you can go back, alter the application a little bit. Well, this one's for a Form 1 with a silencer, not a short-barrel rifle or something. And they already have your fingerprints. They already have your photograph. They already have your information from the previous application. So it's much simpler to submit another application. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort. And then there are people that submitted 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 applications to make stuff. That's one of the reasons the numbers are so high, because it doesn't cost them additionally, because there's no tax.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't cost anything to submit an application.
So tell me about the manufacturers. Are they making? You see any major changes in the gun makers yet? Are they offering specials? Or,
well, the first thing that happened is they offered, and not all, but many offered, that they would pay the $200 tax if you continued to order before the law went into effect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'd give you $200 off to continue to order. And then, of course, after it's happened, the manufacturers are just swamped because there's so much pent-up demand. I mean, it's the demand for silencers has been following almost an exponential curve in the last 20 years or so.
Okay.
I mean, it's just zooming. And so now you don't have to pay a $200 tax. So there was this pent-up demand for about 1 million, I think. But the last time I looked, the applications are falling back to the neighborhood of maybe 10 or 20,000 a day instead of 100,000 a day.
But I would imagine, though, that some of these gun manufacturers are going to start offering their models.
They are. I think Ruger has come out with a suppressor
already.
Yes, they had that before this happened, and then there are others. And the other trend we see is that there's a lot of manufacturers that are now threading the muzzle of the barrel of their firearm so you can put a suppressor on very easily.
So what I'm thinking, though, is if they're going to offer packages where if you buy a gun, it comes with a silencer.
I think that's going to happen.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm assuming
I know there are some packages out there. Like I said, I think Ruger may offer one. There were manufacturers that offered it before. CZ, which is a famous maker of firearms from Czechoslovakia, offered one of their very popular 22 rifles with an integral suppressor built into it.
Built in.
Of course, then you had to make the application, and they increased the price quite a bit. But I think we're going to see a lot more of that kind of thing.
That's going to level out at some point.
Right. But you've got over 500 million firearms in the United States. You have, about 5 million suppressors. So that's only 1 out of 100. So no, worse than that, 5 million, let's see, 500 million, 1 out of 100. No, yeah, right, 1 out of 100.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of upside. And so a lot of people, instead of taking grandpa's rifle and having it threaded for a suppressor, are going to say, well, I'll just buy a new rifle with threads on it already.
Right. And I noticed when I was looking at these air guns, air guns.
Oh, yeah. And you can put suppressors on them.
They came with them. A lot of them
yes.
came from the manufacturer, rifles, air rifles. And we're talking large bore, 45 caliber bore on some of these air rifles that had suppressors part of the gun.
Yeah, it's so.
And that was completely legal.
Yes, because it wasn't a firearm; it's an air gun.
Right. Although we took down a buffalo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's some pretty powerful air guns out there now.
Yeah.
So this is changing the whole landscape. In a whole lot of the world, suppressors are just considered another firearm accessory, like a scope or a trigger or a gun stock or something like that. And they're very effective. In places they're just considered, polite. So you cut down on noise pollution. You don't disturb the neighbors.
Well, people are out deer hunting or something. If they had suppressors that were built into the rifles, I think it would be so much more comfortable.
Well, it is. I mean, and people are worried about losing hearing.
Right.
You go to a gun show, and the most common word you hear is "eh." What?
Is that what the gun show says?
Because people who shoot a lot tend to lose portions of their hearing.
That's experience. Yeah, that's it. The price will level out, but it'll probably take years to catch up with the pent-up demand, I would think.
I don't know, because suppressors are not hard to make. Now, the really sophisticated suppressors that are 3D printed out of titanium or something like that to give you incredible performance, yeah, that's going to take a while. But you could, many years ago, 40 years ago, when I was in Panama, a poacher friend of mine showed me how to make a suppressor for a .22 rifle, and it worked extremely well, and it cost almost nothing, and you could make it in a couple hours. But relatively crude, but very effective. But you can make an effective suppressor for $10, $20 if you're a manufacturer churning them out. There are no suppressors sold like that in the U.S. now, because what's the point of selling a $10 suppressor if you got to pay $200 tax on it? So you tend to have pretty expensive suppressors right now. I think we will get a new crop of inexpensive suppressors down in the $100 range or so or less that'll pop up. When it'll happen, it's probably happening right now. I think people in various machine shops around the country say, I can make that and I can make money on it.
Yeah. They're not complex.
No. But to get the most sophisticated, absolutely best, they can become complex and expensive. Some of the best I've seen lately, they're 3D printed. They're all one piece made of titanium or Inconel or something like that. They're meant for high pressure firearms. They direct the highly compressed gases that are coming out of the muzzle of a firearm through complex pathways and then out the front. And they work extremely well, but right now, you're paying $1,000 for them.
Okay. But there's a market for it.
There are, and I think we are going to get a much more expensive market. All the firearms suppressor manufacturers are probably going to be very busy for a few months, and then competition will start kicking in, and the free market will kick in, and we'll get this large variety of everything from, maybe $50 suppressor you get in the hardware store that goes on your .22, and once it gets skunked up, you just throw it away, buy another one, to, $1,000, $2,000 suppressors that work on full automatic M16s and work very well for a long time without any cleaning.
Yeah. And of course, the movies have been using them for years, but
the movie depictions are not very accurate. But that's the movies. That's what you expect.
Yeah. Ghost guns. Any legislation coming on ghost guns?
That's a good question. New York is pushing to. They've made ghost guns illegal and more illegal, and there is a guy down in Florida who was selling a lot of kits, I think, to make homemade guns out of, and he was very successful, and customers loved him, and he's sitting in jail now. He's been for in jail for 90 days because Letitia James says he violated New York law because he won't send her his list of all the customers he had, where they live and everything.
Oh my gosh.
And so he's sitting in jail and says, I'm not going to give her that list. It's their right to have arms, and you don't have a right to know their name. So he's been in jail for 90 days. He has some legal counsel, and they're claiming they can put him away for 500 years because he sold an item that's legal in almost every other state, but not in New York.
Huh. Are we any closer to getting a national concealed weapon permit?
Yes,
Trump has been asking
in a
for?
sense. There have been 3 judges that wrote a letter to the Wall Street Journal recently. They're federal judges, I believe. And they said, hey, we got all these threats against judges. We should be able to carry our firearms anywhere in the country. So we support this bill that would allow judges and prosecutors to carry guns anywhere in the country, kind of like law enforcement can do now. And so that's a step in the direction.
I was going to say that's a start. Trump has said he was interested in doing that. Like if you have a license in Arizona, it's good every state.
The margin is just too thin with this Congress. If we gain a few more Republicans in the next Congress, then we might be able to pass
tight.
it. Yeah.
All right, Dean, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming in. I'll be back tomorrow. It's 9 o'clock, AM 560 KVLU.
This is News Talk 560 KVLU.